son of a bitch.
Hit you with the drop kick, Marty Jannetty. No, I hit you with the drop kick, Marty Jannetty. No, I hit you with the drop kick, Marty Jannetty. No, I hit you with that drop kick, Marty Jannetty.
Let me do this again.
No, it's live, pal. Sorry.
You're goddamn right, it's live, pal.
Your reaction to the comment was like, you said the movie be cool.
Yeah.
And The Rock, when he won the one, he like, yeah, yeah.
No. Because you know why? Knowing that.
Not like in that term, but just like your
No, because he was like,
got so happy.
because he was like, ah. He thought he was the shit when he did that. I was like, no, bro. No comparison
He had
to
this
The Rock.
thing with this eyebrow that he done.
No,
Like,
no
let's see the shit
comparison
with-
to The
let's see
Rock.
shit with the eyebrow.
When he was putting on the cowboy boots and shit, he was like, ow.
Okay, nobody say that. That's one funny character from that movie.
Anyway, welcome into the latest edition of Hot Tag Wrestle Corner in this hot ass studio, but we here delivering you a full show today. We're catching up. We're catching up from the last 2 weeks of wrestling, cause we've been out that long. I said I would drop the reason why last weekend. All right, here it is. So I got hit by a car, literally out right outside the building, middle of the fucking street, East 9th, right in front of the Galleria. Got a lawsuit against the lady right now. Thank God to my brother, who I felt like saved my life, because he took worse for bear.
Yeah.
And we were both hit, but like I said, he took the brunt of it. And he's still here to tell the story, thank God, you know what I'm saying? And he'll be back down here, returning to the studios too, delivering himself back on these airways. But, you know,
Shout out to Bird.
we had what do you call it? I guess I don't want to say a run-in with death, but
I don't know. It's hard to say.
It was some serious
It's hard
shit.
to say because I one time was in a fight in downtown, like a brawl, and I got hit in the head with a pipe, and I was like concussed, and that felt like death because like I literally can go to sleep for like 3 days straight. Like I had to stay up.
Exactly. And then on top of that,
But nothing to say. But like,
I'm not gonna get into
everybody. Everybody, all right, man? You good?
Right.
My man,
We
Bird good. Bird gonna be back here soon.
I'm not gonna get into the gory details or anything, but we're just happy to be here.
Jesus Christ, they jumping off early. Okay, Guardian, go ahead.
And back to get this, back in here to get it going here. So once again, I am Rob.
I'm Clint.
And this is Hot Tag Wrestle Corner. I'm doing it a little different today. Other than starting off talking about...
It's my phone issues, that's why.
Other than starting off talking about Be Cool, which had nothing to do with anything we're talking about today, really. We're going to start off with the shows because we're covering 2 weeks of wrestling and we're sticking to... We're not going to break down matches as much as even the best ones. We're kind of just going with results because a lot has happened in the 2 weeks. We want to catch that up. Still getting our normal show because we are bringing the return of the Mount Rushmore. This week's Mount Rushmore in honor of the return of Dark Side of the Ring, which also happened while we were out. We're going to talk about the first 5 episodes of this season.
I did see the one on Adrian Adonis, by the way, and I think I know the one we was talking about with Bret Hart. I want to see if I'm right, though.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because it's funny. Then also, we have our Mount Rushmore, which is our favorite Dark Side so far. We both have our own list for that. We'll get into that. And then we'll end the show, I guess, talking news. Do it in that order, I guess. We'll do it like
do it
that.
for fun, shit, and giggles.
All right, so we start off the week in alphabetical order, which means Monday Night Raw from July 3rd.
Yeah, I got all, you got like all the, I got the WWE shows. I was this week because you got AEW. Actually, got to jump to NXT from June 27th first because that was Gold Rush, which is a NXT pay-per-view, which has some titles on it. Like I said, real quick, you had the NXT Women's Championship match between Thea Hale and Tiffany Stratton. Good back and forth match. You knew Stratton was going to retain the belt. She gets the win. In the 8 minutes and 30 seconds, thanks to outside interference from Drew, the boy Gabba Gulak. Gulak, but she looked good in this match. They're pushing her to be a big star. Stratton's going to hold on to that belt for. She's going to probably be the longest consecutively. She's going to be behind Asuka in terms of straight with the belt. Probably, I could see them pushing her like that. Duke Hudson gets beat down. Andre Chase come back. We get the tag team championships between Eldris Anorfe and Malik Blade versus Gallus. We all know who won this match. Gallus. Next, we have a Schism family meeting. Spam Gacy. Basically, he's going to get eventually exiled out of the group. Ava's going to take it over.
By the way, you have back-to-back shows because we covered.
I got the Raw.
We already covered Forbidden Door.
Yeah, I know. So I know. Got this in a Raw.
Gotcha.
The Dragon, the Heritage Cup, Dragon Lee versus Nathan Frazier. Great back and forth match. Nathan Frazier unfortunately takes the L here. 13 minutes overall to Dragon Lee, so Dragon Lee still retains on to that. Next, we get Raw Underground back.
Same form?
We'll see. Next, we get your boy Mustafa Ali.
Wait. Hold on, wait. Rewind a little bit. So we got the Underground back. Is it still hosted by Shane?
No.
Damn it. That would have made it funny.
We got Mustafa Ali. I like saying his name like that. No, that's how they say it on NXT too. Apologize to Wesley for getting involved. Tyler Bate comes in. He had issues with everything. Ali and Bate have a little argument. Mr. Stone trying to find Von Wagner. Next we get Gigi Dolan versus Kiana James. Gigi Dolan gets the win with a crucifix bomb at the 9-minute mark. After the match, Kiana James hits her with a bag and just pours paint all over her. Just like, yeah. I don't know why you got this thing of people pouring paint over people. Our B- movie. Your boy Tony D is in prison, supposedly.
Why you call it the B- movie?
Man, cause then I call that whole thing like B- mafia thing they be doing. Anyway, so Joe, he gets visited by Joe Coffey. Basically, Stacks said he's going to be the new Dom and want Gallus to lay low for a week, something like that. Roxanne Perez get jumped during a Q&A.
So, wait, hold on. Stacks set up Tony D?
The way they did it was that Stacks played it like he was setting him up, but they really pulled the wool over on Gallus, though, basically, is what they did.
Oh, okay.
So, outsmart. No, you can't say the enemy of my enemy is my friend because he infiltrated the inside of the what's name, so I don't know how that worked. Anyway, no matter. We get a loser leave NXT match after we got some more bad blood between the Dyads and the Creed brothers. Next is your NXT title match, Baron Corbin versus Mello Hayes. Mello don't miss. Nothing but net. Finish him at 16 minutes. Felt this match was a little bit too long. Baron Corbin shouldn't be wrestling 15-minute matches. Now I'm not on Baron Corbin. After that, we get another backstage thing with Braun Breaker. He's leaving the office, basically telling Shawn Michaels, basically saying, you can't control me, and that's the end of NXT. Now we get into... Well, they not Raw. I wait for my phone to load up. Yay, phone. That's why I can't change plans. There we go. Yeah, that was quick. Let's start off with recap Money in the Bank. We did that last show. We might do all that again. We get Seth Rollins, who gets serenaded for like 5 minutes. Talking about he got worried about the briefcase. Out comes Cody. Out comes Brock. Brock brawl. Brock goes for F5. Cody turns into a Cody cutter. That's the end of that. Rollins still in the ring when Judgment Day comes out here and offers to fight. Basically trying to bait Priest, put the briefcase up tonight and fight me. He said no. He said if somebody here fight tonight, Rhea was like, well, I fight Natalya tonight, so you already know who's going to fight him. She called him Dirty Dom, so we get Dom. Next, we get Shinsuke Nakamura versus Damian Priest. Priest went with the South of Heaven at the 11-minute mark. Then we get Shayna Baszler. This was you talking about thing with Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey about to get to next. So, Rousey comes out here, Baszler interrupts. She said people are sick and tired of hearing her talk. Rousey said she's owed an explanation. Baszler said, no, I got you in the wrestling, so I owe you nothing. She said, you owe me an apology for even getting you into this business. She said they worked together to become champions. She said, no, I don't remember you building rings, working in front of 30 people, had to fill out applications. No, you came in and went straight to WrestleMania. I love and own what I do. You just sit up here and realize that you can't shut me up. Then they go into the ring, get into a fight. Shayna Baszler basically gives her a nasty knee to the face. face. That's about it. So 2 best friends. Maxine Dupree is getting ready to make her in-ring debut. Get your boys, the Viking Raiders, with your boy Shoes. What's the name? Tag team turmoil match. This was basically just something to throw the women around. It shows how shallow the women division is over in Raw. I mean, you had Chelsea Green, Sonya Deville, who won this match. You had they beat Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Then they beat Emma and Nikki Cross, which happened because Nikki Cross for some reason was concerned about Candice LeRae on the outside. Tegan Knox and Dana Brooks, who just got thrown together as a tag team. You know damn sure they wasn't winning. And then they beat the one legitimate tag team in Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, which, by the way, if you don't break them, I need something single with Katana Chance, bro. She hit this one mover like. So I guess Kaden Carter had like Chelsea Green like on a what's the name? No, Chelsea Green tried to go for a superplex. Couldn't get it. So Kaden Carter like about to pick up a power slammer. Katana Chance comes up here, Hurricane Karana off the top rope. Super clean. Super clean. After that, so Sonya Deville, Chelsea Green wins that match. We get Bronson Reed, who cares? No offense.
Nothing taken, I mean.
Next, we get pissed off Becky Lynch, who said she didn't win Money in the Bank, but she said she want to fight Trish Stratus. Out comes Trish, by the way, who had that same face, that same protective mask. Was it WrestleMania 19, I want to say? Yeah. She had that same mask.
Yeah,
on.
I know what you're talking about.
She had that same mask on, which was instantly funny, because Becky literally like, haha, look at your face. She's like, you think this funny? She's like, I do. She like just laughing at her. And she said she could fight Zoe Stark. Cody Rhodes comes out, says that he'll fight Brock Lesnar anywhere. The 6-man tag match.
Why is that still happening?
What?
Cody versus Brock? I thought we did this. I thought we proved this. Why is it still going on?
Because they're 1-1, so they're going to have the third one.
We didn't need a trilogy! Here's my question. I feel like because he's super over, they've put off his title reign. Like, what happened to getting him the belt?
But I told you they booking him out like John Cena 2012. Thought I was lying when I said
They're
that.
booking him like he wasn't AEW, basically. Where he didn't fight for the title.
The way he's getting booked is real similar to John Cena in 2012. 2012.
Go ahead, my bad.
So, Maxine get the pin on Valhalla. By the way, she did the ugliest looking worm ever. She tried. But it's just, yeah, she tried, but it was just bad, though. It was just bad. Ricochet ain't happy with Logan Paul, set up a face-to-face. Title match between Rhea Ripley and Natalya. This was a hard-hitting match. It was a point in the match where Natalya, I think, literally got the wind knocked out of her after she had a drop kick. Like, she ran to the corner, Ripley, like, kicked in her chest, and I was like, ooh, yeah. Like, she rolled over, like, was down for, like, a while. Like, yeah, she probably got the wind knocked out of her. Great match, though. Great match. Back and forth between them. After the match, Ripley tries to beat her up some more, but Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez comes, make the save, setting up something between them. Promo between Ciampa and Miz. They facing a no DQ match next week. Io Sky walks up to Rhea Ripley with her Money in the Bank briefcase. Ripley just basically says, try her. Riddle versus Giovanni Vinci. Riddle wins in like a minute. Seth Rollins versus Dominic Mysterio. Seth win by DQ. Then after the match, basically, they try to cash in, but Finn basically fucks it up, and then they're basically arguing off the air again like last week.
And then you're back with NXT, or do you want me to jump into some Dynamite?
NXT for the...
All right.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll do this one then. That way I can give me time to, like, switch up.
Cut some shows to make some fucking space on your phone.
Yeah. It's only because I switched plans. That's the only fucking reason. We're done with Gold Rush. Now we got 3 weeks to Great American Bash. Yay, another pay-per-view. Okay, first match. Blair Davenport versus Roxanne Perez. Remember
Wait. So, you just did Gold Rush Saturday, and then it's Great American Bash on Tuesday?
3 weeks from the Gold Rush. So.
Oh, they're prepping for the next.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Blair Davenport versus Roxanne Perez. My girl Roxanne Perez, unfortunately, loses this match with a Falcon Arrow followed by a knee to the head at 12 minutes. Established her as a monster heel. Hill, what they're doing. Ivy now is worried about the loser league town match tonight with the Creed and Schism. Timothy Stratton makes front of her. Baron Corbin said he's tired of not having a reputation. He's done with gimmicks, past gimmicks. His thing is no more gimmicks, no more nonsense, no more bullshit. I guess. You really not saying that to Corey, y'all. All right. Mustafa Ali versus Tyler Bate. Ali hits the 450. He's winning more matches than NXT that he won in the last 3 years since he's been up in main roster. Main roster. Great match between these two. I would love to see them fight again. This will lead to a North American title match. Next we get Kaylani Jordan versus Tatum Paxley. Paxley loses this match in 2 minutes and 43. She goes for a suplex but get reversed into a stun dog millionaire. Cora Jade comes out. Then we got Andre Chase's back with Chase Hughes. Now we get NXT Underground. So, it's kind of the same thing. No ropes, win by submission, TKO. So it's like Raw Underground in a way. This is Eddie Thorpe versus Damon Kemp. Thorpe wins this with a triangle choke and then some elbows to the head for the stops at 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Damon Kemp got brought up here and haven't won a match, I don't think, since he was the name. JC Jane versus Lyra Valkyrie. Valkyrie gets the win at 8 minutes and 52 seconds. Jane beats her up again. Okay, now, Noam Dar is crying over losing his Heritage Cup, unfortunately. You lost that shit 3 weeks ago. Let it go. Next we get the loser leave NXT match between the Creed brothers and Dyad. Back and forth.
Is Dyad? Those are Joe Gacy's people, right?
Yes.
That's
formerly Grizzled Young.
Yeah, Grizzled. I hope they lose so bad. I just want them to get out of this, please. I've been begging for this shit for months. I'm sure they've begged for it inside.
Good back and forth match. They go for a Doomsday Device, get broken up. Suicide Dive takes Brutus out. Double suplex in the Dyad fight over the top rope. Ava comes in. Ivy now runs interference. A masked man hits Julius. Double code breaker. Julius loses at 17 minutes 42 seconds. The Dyads win. The Creed has to leave NXT, which means they're probably coming up to main roster. So yeah. The masked man probably was Joe Gacy too. After that, basically, we get a promo at the end of the night about Braun Breaker talking about how he had the most watching NXT matches. He challenged Rollins. He's 25. I didn't know Braun Breaker was that young. Damn, 25? I thought he was a little bit older than that. Jesus.
They brought him straight in from college.
Oh, okay. They say he played football for the Ravens or something, didn't they? He said, or he on the Ravens practice squad or something?
He must have been on a practice squad.
That's what I'm thinking.
And then they cut him. But you got to think, if he made the practice squad, that means he's probably coming straight from school.
Yeah. He said he wants to know what's next. Dragunov comes out here and says he's next. He says one pair between him and the NFC title, so he got to eliminate Breaker. They fight, they brawl, they end the show. And that's the end of NXT.
Could be Raw, not as good as him in Gunther, though. Alrighty. So, moving on over to the other side of pro wrestling world. All Elite Wrestling. Over in the land of All Elite, we got a lot to talk about. We got the Owen Hart Cup coming up. We have Tag Team Eliminators also happening. We have a Battle of the Belts coming up soon, which not many titles changing those, so that might not be that exciting for you. But you also have Blood and Guts coming up soon. There's much build up and anticipation for that. So we're gonna start off with Dynamite from July 7th. The Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament first round. This is basically you put your name into. You remember back in the day in the Attitude Era where they'd have mixed tag teams like Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels were tag champs for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Well, they're kind of doing that right now. They have Adam Cole and MJF are tag team, even though they were and will be fighting for the title. Probably at All Out is my guess. They're a tag team. Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara, though they were just in a Four Pillars match, they got made into a tag team. One of the tag teams.
Tag team in the face and the heel, basically.
Yeah, or people that have feuded recently, like Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland got re-tag teamed together. And remember, they were formerly tag team champs earlier this year.
Yeah.
So we have Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin, who are a tag team, versus Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin, they pulled this one out. Strickland hit the DDT and goes for a diving DDT. And he missed, and he ended up hitting it on Keith Lee, leaving Darby Allin to hit the Last Supper on Strickland when he got back into the ring for the victory after about 11 minutes 12 seconds of that match. To me, the only thing about that is that you still didn't get clarity on exactly what the hell's going on. Like, a final resolution between Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland on that one, but we'll see where that goes. Do you remember months ago they signed a young kid, he's 17, named Nick Wayne? His dad was a wrestler, his grandfather was a wrestler, his dad died. His dad was Buddy Wayne, he was Darby Allin's trainer.
No, I don't remember.
Well, Nick Wayne's about to make his AEW debut, and he's literally turned 18 like 2 weeks ago. So, yeah, had his open. We'll get into his opening match. It's actually a couple shows away. They show Hook chasing off Jungle Boy last week. Jungle Boy, since he decided to turn heel, basically turned bitch. He just runs from Hook. He just runs from Hook every time he's in the ring. He refuses to come into the arena because he knows he's gonna get his ass whooped. He wants an FTW title match with Hook, and he escapes in the car waiting for him, basically. They show a video of Adam Cole and MJF's history together. They went to like a gym and were working out, and then he asked him to spot him, but instead of spotting him, he's looking at his phone like you are right now. And then MJF thought, because they had it was a good 260, 275 on the bar, and MJF thought oh, Adam Cole's a little dude, he can't do this. He says, you want me to take some of this off? He's like, no, I got it. And then he busted it out, same as he did. And he was kind of shocked. And then they both got the clown and the fat dude, which is kind of shades of Adam Cole and, Undisputed Era, but he's still face, though. It was weird. It was weird. Moving on from there. They have the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn taking on the Blade, because the Butcher is part of the tag team eliminator. And your boys, your old boys, the Bollywood boys.
Oh, them not my boys.
Mic drop finishes off. A mic drop for Caster finishes them off at 6 minutes 42 seconds.
I knew they was losing.
Post match, Harley Cameron, who I was talking about, the Barbie who keeps trying to rap.
She thinks she got bars.
She pops up on the screen and she says she'll prove her challenge with a video next week. Billy Gunn just tells her to suck it. Eddie Kingston is finally a champion. I repeat, Eddie Kingston is finally a champion. Eddie Kingston won the strong NJPW Strong Openweight Championship against Kenta. Defeated Kenta. Whoa. Yes. He won it at the Independence Day show that New Japan Strong had back on the 4th or around the 4th. So props to Eddie. That's why he's not part of Blood and Guts right now, because he's in the G1 also.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Eddie.
So that's why he's
Go
not.
ahead, man.
So with Danielson down with his arm broke.
Yeah.
Eddie's living out his ultimate fantasies in Japan, because you know how much he loves Japanese wrestling. So he's over there doing this thing. We have new participants in both of those spots. We'll get to that later. That wasn't announced on this show. That's announced on the next Dynamite. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Matt Hardy draws Jeff Hardy. Well, he draws Jeff in the tag tournament. Slapnuts, that is. Diddle
J-E-double-F, J-A-double-R-E to the double T, Jeff Jerry. You got me with that one.
So he was pretty salty about that. He thought it was his brother. He's like, yes. He was like, no, not that Jeff. Wheeler cut the promo on Kenny Omega. He has a couple pins on him recently in the most recent match they had. Not the one at Forbidden Door. Kenny wasn't in that one, but the one that Kenny was in, I think it was on a Dynamite. Wheeler got the pin. So Wheeler has, feel like he got one up on Kenny. So he's challenging Kenny to the main event. On this main event of this show. Next out of Jericho for a chat. He thanks the fans for cheering for him. He's in his home country, Canada, obviously. He's also lamenting over the last couple of losses, feeling like he needs to make some changes. All of a sudden, Don Callis comes out. Don Callis talks about how he feels like, I brought you in. We reconnected. I brought you in for the Omega match at Wrestle Kingdom. He said we've had so many amazing moments together. we need to come together and make a new family and make a spot in my family for you. So he tells him, maybe I'll think about it. Next up, Punk and CM Punk and Samoa Joe, who are in the semifinals of the Owen Hart tournament. They got there because Samoa Joe beat Roger Strong in the first round and then did too much after the match, choked him out, and then Spike power drived him on top of a chair, so he had to leave on a stretcher just to make his point to Punk, like, I'm gonna do you the same way the next week. Also, Punk has never beaten Samoa Joe at this point in time, as far as their 2 title matches they had back in the day in Ring of Honor. That was the only other time they ever fought. The other side of the bracket tournament, we'll get to that in a little bit when we get there. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks is the other side, as I was saying. We'll get there. I forgot who Ricky Starks beat. Oh, he beat Juice Robinson in the first round. Powerhouse Hobbs beat Dustin Rhodes to get to this point. And obviously, you see the parallels. They were formerly together in Team Taz. Now they're going back against each other again. You know what I'm saying? I like how they're trying to match up former foes or stuff like that. So, you know what I'm saying? Familiarity, as I call it. They also show Roger Strong in the back getting checked out by the doctor wearing a neck brace. Adam Cole's there checking in on him. Gets a text from MJF about using a double clothesline tonight in their match, which is next. MJF and Adam Cole were teamed up in a tag team eliminator, taking on The Butcher and Matt Menard, Money Matt, Coke Man. MJF calls for the double clothesline. Cole just hits the boom on Matt Menard for the victory. So they're not quite on the same page yet. But MJF is trying. Post-match, MJF tries to,
trying with alternative motive.
He's trying, and Cole's not impressed. So all of a sudden, streamers fall from the sky. It's Adam Cole's birthday, baby. And he gets the fans to chant happy birthday to him and stuff like that. He tries to come out with he has all these, security dudes come out with a cake and shit. He tries to offer him the cake, and he just smashes MJF's face into the cake. And then the fans are chanting, "Eat the cake! Eat the cake!" So eventually he licks it. And he's he just taps him on his head like, "I appreciate it." And then walks out. So he maybe made this much headway with him. So we'll see where that goes, because eventually MJF's going to turn on him. Britt Baker doesn't like Ruby Soho. This is a rematch of the finals of last year's Owen Hart on the women's side. They're meeting in the semifinal. You have to give me a minute to remember how they got to this point, like who they both beat in the first round. We'll get back there. On the other side is Athena.
Oh, my girl Athena.
Taking on Willow Nightingale in the semis. Winner of both those matches will face each other. And next is the Britt Baker Ruby Soho match. Ruby gets her revenge with help from her girls, of course. Baker had her in the lockjaw, but Saraya pulls Soho to the floor. Baker tries to beat up on the Outcast, but it gets rolled up back in the ring with an assisted pin for the victory by Ruby Soho. So she gets a bit of revenge from last year. Next up, by the way, Sky Blue. That was the first round. Sky Blue is who she faces in the second round, Ruby Soho. I forgot who Sky Blue beat. I apologize. I know it's very unprofessional here, but honestly, if she beat her, it's not really that important to it. Main part of the story is that Sky Blue moved on. Anyway, Sky Blue faces
She moved on to lose. Sorry, Sky Blue.
She faces Ruby Soho next. I'll leave it there. And now it's time for your main event. Wheeler, Utah, taking on Kenneth Omega. This is a pretty good match. Nice showing by Yuta. Gave him plenty of time. 15 minutes, 32 seconds. Kenny finishes him off though with the one-winged angel from the top rope, by the way, for the pin. Post-match, Claudio comes in for the beatdown. The Bucks can't make it down there for the save in time. Hangman comes in with the chair also, but as he's about to use it, it's snatched out of his hands by the Dark Order, who are acting like some Saudi bitches themselves recently. And they have a right to. We helped you when you were down, and then all of a sudden you just kind of turned your back on us.
Right.
So they have a reason to be Saudi. So this will be handled soon. And that was the end of Dynamite.
He turned his back on his boys.
That was the end of Dynamite.
Go to Friday night.
You know what? No. I got it. You did 2 back-to-back. I'll do 2 back-to-back. Then you jump into SmackDown. I'll do Rampage. Give you a break. You did 2 in a row. I feel you. Rampage from the 7th of July.
Rampage, baby.
This is Rampage, baby. Starts off with the Bucks and Hangman Page taking on Dark Order, speaking of which. This is a decent match. Dark Order tried to put up a good fight, but they ended up getting put down. Uno takes the pin. After some interference by Kenosha Kacheska and Claudio Castagnoli. Oh, sorry. I'm wrong. Rewind that. Kacheska gets a distraction. Claudio comes in. hits a heck of an uppercut on Hangman Page. Evil Uno picks up the pin on Page.
Oh.
So it continues that a little bit down the line. So we'll see where that goes. Post-match, Omega comes out and clears the ring with a chair. Next up, your favorite moment of every AEW show, QT Marshall and QT TV.
No.
Is still relatively clueless.
No court.
They come out with Hardy Cameron, who keeps hitting on Anthony Bowens, but they keep telling him he's gay. So I understand why you keep doing that, but it's whatever. Next up, Blind Eliminator Tournament, Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara taking on Matt Hardy, and it's a wild slap nuts on the loose.
J-E-F-F, J-A-R-R-E to the double T. Jeff Jarrett. 2 slap nuts. That's what I like.
Shit, we might have multiple. I believe we may have another one soon. We'll get there. Anyway, so in this match, Matt Hardy, actually, they teamed up pretty well in this one, but the main point of this one was, I think they're trying to turn Sammy heel, not heel, but back face, because he's not cooperating with Garcia quite like they want to. Like, he keeps kind of still his shine events. Like, for example, at the end of the match, Guevara hits the GTH, or his version of Go to Sleep, however you want to call it. He hits that on Matt to get the victory, but before he does, because he's stunned into the crowd, Daniel Garcia slaps on the back of the tag and makes the pin. Just steals it from him right quick, and then stands up like, yeah, man. Raises his hand like, yeah, we got the win. And Sammy's still looking like a salty bitch, like, hold on, cuz, I wasn't done.
Right.
So we'll see where that goes. But they're moving on. In the post-match, since they didn't win the match, Slapnut said, fuck it, we beating your ass. So they started whooping on Matt Hardy, including Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, Jay Lethal. Karen Jarrett was there, but she was just holding the fucking guitar the whole time until the ring got cleared out. Well, attempted to be cleared out by Brother Zay. He made a decent save, and he got jumped by the rest of them, but in the numbers game, until the ring was cleared by Ethan Page making a save. And everything's in Canada, so of course he came out. That made sense. Everybody in these net about of AW shows I'm going to talk about for the rest of the show, I have a little bit of a Canadian tinge on the wrestlers involved, because all these shows are in Canada. They've been in Canada for like a month and a half. So like Sean Spears, Ethan Page, Jericho, Omega. All Canadians.
Yep.
Also, Ty Valkyrie. She has a match too. She's Canadian too. So up next.
She Canadian?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know either. Next up, your girl Hikaru Shida had a squash match over Marina Shafir. The Katana finished her off in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Next up, Trent Beretta and Matt Sydal take on Brian Cage and Big Bill. Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament first round. Brian Cage and Big Bill wins this one, though they could have ended this shit halfway through, shorter than the match win, because the match went 12 minutes, 24 seconds. They was dogging him the whole time. They won with a combination of powerbomb clothesline to finish off Matt Sydal.
Oh.
And that was the end of Rampage.
Formerly known as Evan Bourne.
Yep.
We going to SmackDown now?
Yes, sir.
It's the SmackDown. Money in the Bank again is over with. Of course, we all know what happened. Roman Reigns got pinned for the first time in over 1,300 days. Do you remember the last guy that pinned him? I asked you this last week.
Baron Corbin.
Yes, sir.
If you wouldn't have told me that last week, I would have got that fucking wrong.
We are here for the trial of Roman Reigns. Basically, evidence, turn on the Bloodline members, and talk about how he's on top of everything. Fans basically saying you fucked up. He talked about how he did everything for the family. He said that he needed Jay's family back too. He said he's done. He gonna hand everything over to Jay. He's gonna bow down to Jay.
Roman said this?
Yeah.
All right.
And then Paul Heyman's looking so lost. So Jay kneels down to check on Reigns, and then Reigns hits him with a low blow, because that's how he kicked out at Money in the Bank, with a low blow. With a low blow, Jay basically gets beat down. Then they beat the shit out of Jimmy. He takes steps to the head. He gets put through the announce table.
I heard he's out of action for real.
First of all, this segment was long as shit.
Do you think they did
like
it?
30 minutes.
Do you think they did this to write him off?
Yeah, I think they say he got something like his ribs. They say he's gonna be out indefinitely.
Listen, Jimmy. Listen. We love you. Do not drink. I'm saying that to you like Stephen A. Smith says, stay off the weed. Continue.
I want to say, is it Jimmy or is it? I think that might be the wrong.
No, it's Jimmy. Because remember, she was driving and he still got a DUI
Oh yeah, the one
for talking shit.
Yeah, it was Jimmy.
Yeah, it was Jimmy multiple times. It ain't been Jay. Jay been there.
It show him. It show him getting taken away in the ambulance.
Matter of fact, the whole reason Jay's even on this renaissance he's on is because Jimmy's been out.
Got hurt again last time. Sheamus hits a bro kick, but he gets rolled up to retain the title thanks to help from your boy Pretty Deadly.
Yeah, boy. Sorry, I was late. I was drinking some water.
Next we get the Grayson Waller effect, and Edge is the special guest this week.
Oh.
What?
You know, I don't like that his run now is just him putting dudes over. I hate that. I feel like he still has it in him. But here's my thing.
Who,
I
Edge?
have the total opposite thing with Edge that I have with CM Punk right now. All right, listen, I'm a Kenny Omega fan. I'm not taking sides on what happened with them. I just want to see good wrestling regardless. But I do feel like I wish they would switch roles. I want to see Punk putting more people over. We'll talk about that later in the show. And I want to see Edge do it less. Honestly, that's how I feel.
By the way, for people that was asking questions too about how Grayson Waller have been wrestling since he's been bought up and everything like that, just been doing great. That's because he actually been dealing with he's come from a broken leg. They suffered in NXT during his unsanctioned match with Johnny Gargano.
Okay.
So that's why they basically just have him like doing the Grayson Waller effect.
Got you.
So that's why you haven't been seeing wrestling for those that was asking. They talk about Edge had a great career. Talk about his career in the Garden. And he said Edge is retiring. This the last time the Garden to see him. Edge said he ain't retiring, but he's going to have a match tonight against Waller. Next we get Karrion Kross and AJ Styles. AJ Styles wins the match with phenomenal forearm, and guess how long this match took?
30 seconds.
A minute and 40 seconds.
I wasn't that far off.
It's Karrion Kross and AJ Styles. That's literally the
Karrion
Chan and Scarlett started fighting.
Wait.
We're both there too.
So Karrion Kross went over?
No, AJ Styles did.
Okay.
But they started fighting, and that Styles took advantage, shot to the head, phenomenal forearm. He wins. Next, Asuka's out here, then followed by Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair. Triple threat brawl immediately. Sky Bailey come out here to jump Asuka. Rose pin to the case. She goes for the cash in after the EO hit the moonsault, but it gets broken up by Belair and Charlotte. No cash in. So, you're for 2. You tried. Next, you get Edge versus Grayson Waller. The Rolling Stunner gets countered into a spear by Edge. Edge gets the win at 15 minutes.
So
15
he
minutes.
actually had a match, Waller?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Edge gave him a lot of time. He basically gave him the rub and everything like that. He gave him his respect after the match. He said you swam instead of sank. You swam, so he gave him his props over there. Then we get to the final thing of SmackDown. The Bloodline is here. Jay is in the crowd. Jay is pissed. He takes out everybody. He takes out Solo. He takes out Reigns. He calls himself the judge, jury, executioner in the trial of the tribal chief. He said it's trial by combat now. He wants Reigns one-on-one. And then basically just leave Roman speechless as he ends the show. So they're going to let up to them going to SummerSlam. Probably Jay's going to get that title shot.
Is he going to put him over? That's the question.
This what I said this. You're to the point Jay is so hot, you got to put him over, I believe. They're not.
I'm about to, thank you.
They're
I'm about to
not.
say, I'm like, do you know what fucking company
They're
you cover?
not. They're not.
Like,
But
you know this.
I know, but
you know this, man.
he's so over
we were
now.
just talking about Cody.
He's so over. He's so over now. I feel like to where you have to put the belt on him.
We thought that about Rhodes, too.
Yeah, that's true, too.
So, here's a new segment for our show. Because we were supposed to debut it, and then I got hit by a car. Collision. Yes, AEW is giving us another fucking show. But at the same time as I say that, it has actually been really good. I cannot hate. This is basically CM Punk's baby. So he doesn't have to interact with the Elite and Kenny Omega. So he does this show. But I do believe there was one episode where the Bucks were on, I think, where at least the Bucks were on it, if not Kenny Omega.
You said the same thing I was saying. This is something for CM Punk. Like, you stay away from these motherfuckers.
It's basically that. He said he's one bill filled, so he's making money for the company, so this is the compromise. Give him the other show or whatever. Also, love that they got They went out and paid, because AEW's a company that pay for themes. They pay, and I wonder how much he paid. I bet it was a lot. He paid for Elton John's Saturday Night's All Right to Fight. Great theme song for the show. It's on Saturdays. It makes sense.
Yeah, he had to pay a lot of money for that.
I bet. That's what I'm saying. It's Elton John, bro.
Yeah,
But
Sir Elton John.
Sir, sorry, my respects, and it's worth it too. It goes with it because it's on Saturday nights. Saturday nights are right for fight. It's literally that part of the song. It's like that's all. It makes sense. It's awesome. Anyway, so skipping the first couple episodes, now we're gonna catch up. This is about the fourth or fifth episode so far. We're on here. We're still opening with the men's Owen Hart semifinal. Powerhouse Hobbs taking on Starks, and this match came down to QT Marshall getting too involved and fucking it up for his own client.
Of course he did. He's Court. Court do dumb shit.
A springboard tornado DDT doesn't go so well, and Hobbs is back at his feet and hits a spine buster, but for some reason out of nowhere, QT Marshall distracts the referee, allowing Starks to ram Hobbs into him, turns around, hits a spear, rams Starks into Hobbs, and Hobbs into him. Turns around, hits a spear. Starks wins at 11 minutes. After the match, QT Marshall's begging for Hobbs, like, please forgive me, man, forgive me, please. He just shoves him away. Aaron Solo tries to run in and play Peacemaker. He's basically just company clown at this point. He's spraying Banaka in his face at the wrong times or saying really stupid things that everybody already knows.
The Powerhouse turning face?
I would hope, but we'll see. Either way, Solo tried to come in and play Peacemaker and got dropped with the spine buster. It took Hardy Cameron coming between Hobbs and Marshall for Hobbs to walk away. Yeah, they've interjected her ass a lot. They're trying to get some shine on QT. There is none really.
Court.
Anyway,
he has no shine.
Anyway, so
go away.
She's the only thing that kept
Hobbs. Don't come back.
She's the only thing that kept Hobbs laying hands on Marshall.
You and your TV show.
Guess who else is back? The man who has beef with God.
Oh, okay. I don't mind him being back.
The Redeemer.
Go ahead, Miro. I'm glad he's back.
Miro said he's ready to hurt anyone because no one can hurt him. He has a double-jointed wife and he doesn't feel like he deserves her. He literally said that. Nothing can tempt him. Not a shiny belt, not a jealous God, or a double-jointed hot wife.
Oh, Lord.
He's serious,
nice
bro.
Promo.
He playing. Willow Nightingale, upset.
I wish I would have seen Lana's Twitter after that.
Willow Nightingale got hurt in the match where she lost the strong women's title to Julia.
Yeah.
So she couldn't make her initial match would have been on Collision against Athena, so they pushed it back to the next Rampage.
I'm glad they did that.
Athena comes out talking shit,
of course she is.
And then Nightingale says, "When I beat you on Rampage, maybe I'll come back and take that shiny thing on your shoulder too." So I won't be surprised if they have another match at Death Before Dishonor. Next up, Julia Hart taking on Bambi Hall. Squash match. Julia Hart wins with the Rings of Saturn. In 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Like that she brings that back as
Julia Hart.
One of my favorite submissions of all time. I'm glad she brought that back. Somebody needed to. Malachi Black is out next to talk about how Andre El Idolo, let me say it right, since Ian Riccaboni this week whited it up so bad. If you speak white, that's fine. But the way he didn't just say El Idolo, he said El Idolo. I'm like, bro, stop phonetically sounding it out, bro. Stop. Act like you've been on TV before, Riccaboni. Idolo.
Like Modelo?
Yes. Not Idolo. Idolo.
Oh, no.
He phonetically sounded it out. It sounded so dumb.
He legally pronounced. Oh, he actually pronunciated.
So anyway.
He found the syllables.
Malachi Black said Andrade's been holding on to his faith in this mask like a child that won't let go of their teddy bear, but Black is willing to show the truth. Andrade says he's a businessman, but the mask represents his family and his culture. When he takes the mask off, it's time to fight and win. Next up is your main event, Bullet Club Gold taking on sorry, not the main event, my fault. Got a little ahead of myself there.
Called main event?
Basically. Bullet Club Gold, which is Switchblade, Jay White, and Juice Robinson taking on FTR in a non-title eliminator match. If they win, though...
They get a shot at the title?
Yep, and guess who wins? Bullet Club Gold.
I knew it.
They pull one out. Great match, went 28 minutes. For DDT plants Harwood, and Wheeler can't get in the ring to break it up. So that's the victory after 28 minutes. They set up Battle of the Belts, which is Shawn Spears challenging Luchasaurus for the TNT title. You'll also see the women's champion Toni Storm taking on Taya Valkyrie, and you'll also see Orange Cassidy taking on a returning Murder Hawk monster, Lance Archer, who's been just destroying cats over in Japan.
I'm about to say, that's where you've been. Okay.
Yeah, he's been in Japan.
I've not heard his name in a while.
They explain in show video.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was the shit. That was the funniest, man. I'll never forget that shit.
Poor Jake.
That shit was hilarious. So, man. Anyway, FTR is back in the back talking about it. Bullet Club well comes up a challenger for the match. There's 2 out of 3 falls on next week's Collision.
Ooh.
Your semi-main, your filler match, I would call it. It actually was a pretty decent filler match. Scorpio Sky making his return, taking on Action Andrade, who has been a punchline. He beat Jericho the one time.
And have been nothing since.
Nothing. he loses this one to Sky TKO in about 7 minutes, 26 seconds. After the match, though, he did shake the kid's hand, so maybe Sky's face. Your main event, Samoa Joe, taking on CM Punk. Of course, Tony's boy pulls this one out. Swinging neckbreaker sets up a failed GTS attempt, so Punk ends up getting a roll-up for the victory. After the match, Joe acted like a Saudi bitch, shook his hand, and then hurried up and snatched him up in a coquina clutch, and then act like he was going to beat him down with a chair before FTR came in and made the save. Ricky starts to act like he was going to come make a save, and then stops on the stage and just stared at Punk in the ring, because that's who he's taking on next week for the finals of the Owen Hart. And that is AEW Collision.
Go back to Monday Night Raw. All right. This is going to be real quick because I got the quick version.
All right.
So, first off, starts off, I'm going back to the old way I used to do the show. The main stuff and then everything else is going to get jocked through. Judgment Day. Remember I told you they had their issues last week, found another failed cash in by Damian Priest. He talked about his issue with Priest has not been settled. Balor, I love this. Rhea Ripley basically come out here and Balor trying to talk. She snatched the mic from him and said, you shouldn't be discussing issues out in the public. Like, she basically just scolded him. Like, take this to the back, handle it like me. like she was the name. And Finn left, like a little what's the name, went back there. They showed him talking earlier. He said that he never attended the cash in or cost him the match. They said they was cool. He said long as Balor get first crack at Rollins. So that's what he basically said. And then I loved after he's like, and that he like, either way, he like, either way after that, he like, either way, he like, we're covered. I'm like, I like the little one up and on Finn still. Like, I still got this. So if you fail, you gonna help me out regardless. This said, then we have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who gets interrupted by Ripley and Mysterio. Said Judgment Day would take the titles off them. This leads to they attack Seth Rollins later, and then it's lead for Owens and Zayn to run out, lead to a 6-man tag match.
Player.
Judgment Day gets the win after Ripley interfered after he was gonna hit a haluva kick. Priest hit a South of Heaven. Balor with the coup de grace for the win. Balor and Priest smiled, shook hands. Seemed like everything is cool right now. Next, McIntyre and Riddle defeat Imperium. After that, Gunter attempted to interfere late, but he got launched into a Riddle's knee, and then he wound up eating a Claymore again. So he got the best of Gunter again. Ricochet and Logan Paul came face to face. Ricochet said that he wanted a match. Logan Paul basically said no. It said Ricochet is trying to use him to go viral, but he's not here for that. Ricochet flipped out of the ring. I love this. Ricochet had this thing, the same thing he did to Velveteen Dream. He like ran and flipped out the ring, and Velveteen had that look on his face. He did the same thing right in front of Paul. Paul tried to sucker punch Ricochet. It ain't work. Ricochet ducked underneath the ring, hit him with a sliced bread. So he gets so go somewhere, Logan Paul. Zoe Starr defeated Becky Lynch after Lynch countered Z360, got distracted by Trish Stratus, and she wound up losing for the roll-up victory. So the Viking Raiders interrupted Maxine's Alpha Academy graduation. Valhalla blindsided Dupree from behind. They stole her Alpha Academy jacket. Road challenged Brock Lesnar to at SummerSlam. Said it ain't personal because whoever wins the real match will be next in line for a title shot.
So that I would assume that means Cody.
The Miz defeated Tommaso Ciampa via pinfall after interference for Bronson Reed. And then Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville defeated Katana Chance and Kaden Carter after Green hit. I like the little combo they got. So Chelsea Green will hit the Unprettier, and then Sonya Deville will come in with that knee. with that running knee that she does. That's a nice what's the name. She puts so much when she does it on Prettier. It's so damn ridiculous. Ridiculous. Like she go like I think they tell her like when Chelsea Green hit them Prettier on you, I think they tell her like go like knees into the what's the name so it could sell that much better than Sonya Deville just finishing with the knee to the what's the name. So I'm a nice little what's the name. And that's the end of Raw. Quick, flashing in a hurry.
I see. You wasn't playing about that shit.
Huh?
You wasn't playing about that shit. You want to do NXT now, or do you want to let me do Dynamite and you come back?
You can do Dynamite.
All right, so let's get into Dynamite from Wednesday. So we're going to go forward and go back a little bit, and then go back forward. We both have Friday shows, and I have a Saturday show. So we'll, yeah. We'll do it like this. I'll do that. You do NXT. I'll come back Rampage. You do SmackDown. I end with Collision.
Yep.
That way we go back and forth, back and forth. All right, so this Dynamite, last week's Dynamite in a whole was a little bit better, but I thought there were aspects of this one that were better than last week's Dynamite. So the opening match was Commander taking on Chris Jericho. You know, he's had a crisis of confidence recently.
Jericho.
Yep, this match.
What's up with that, man? Him on AEW and Italian WWE. What's up with the Canadians having crisis issues lately?
Because they've lost a lot of matches. Because he's lost a lot of matches recently, and then she's been losing matches for years. Well, not true. She's spliced some wins in there, but for the most part, she's on the end losing in the most of her matches in that company. So I can see why you have a crisis of confidence after those things happen when you have that terrible booking. Anyway, this is a pretty good match between the two, showing off Commander's skills against Chris Jericho's old wildiness, I guess I would say. Commander hit a top rope walking flip dive, setting up a Phoenix Splash for a 2 count back inside the ring. Jericho's Codebreaker gets a 2 count. The Commander tries for another springboard, only to get pulled into a lineman tamer and tap out 12 minutes and 50 seconds. After the match, Don Callis comes out to the ring and gets to showing old videos of him and Jericho cutting a promo with Brad News Brown. This is from like 90 or 91. Wow. Callis had hair. No, it was from 95. Callis had hair, long hair. Remember when he was the Jackal? Mm-hmm. That version of him, basically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's crazy because he's so bald now. So it was a throwback. So he's basically bringing up good times, trying to still get him into his graces, getting him to come into, the Don Callis family or whatever. So he didn't say yes yet still. He's still mulling it over, I guess. Jungle Boy said he will not get out of his car this time. Hook gets to go chase him away again. And he says, keep running, Perry.
Hey, when he gave it...
Don Callis, go ahead.
Did we talk about when Jungle Boy gave his first promo after he turned on Hook?
No, because that was the Dynamite that
I want to say
the Dynamite after
I want to say this one
Forbidden
thing.
Door.
Shout out to Jungle Boy. I seen the promo. Shout out to the fact that you picked up Luke Perry's old Beverly Hills 91210 jacket from season 1 when he first started on the show and wore that when you cut your heel promo.
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't even peep that. I didn't peep that. Good shit. I didn't even peep that. I just saw him come out. He's like, no, none of this. No, I thought that was funny.
He had that brown jacket on. I'm like, your daddy had that jacket on a couple episodes. Okay. No, my fault. I was like, that was just
You're good. You're good. Don Callis said he's ready to name the
Easter egg for people who grew up in the 90s,
Don Callis said he's ready to name the 5th member of Blood and Guts, but that didn't happen at the end of the show, so no need to worry about it. MJF makes more efforts to win over Adam Cole. They were at a bar last week. MJF not being pleased over Cole not wearing their new T-shirt. That basically says, "I'm better than you, baby." That's their.
Why would I wear that shirt?
That's their combo shirt.
No,
it's better than you, and then baby.
No, that's you just trying to say you're better than me. Period. Just throwing the baby in.
They're trying to say it like as a tag.
Yeah, but I know what MJF's doing though. You're trying to say it like, yeah, you're better than Adam Cole. You ain't slick.
So he's sorry he won't wear the shirt. Some attractive women come in, and MJF says 2 for him, 2 for Cole. That's not going to work for Cole.
Get Cole's married.
That's not going to work for Cole, which MJF says makes 4 for him. MJF and the ladies leave, and we cut to MJF coming back saying the maximum ride is spent. Cole says he'll put a T-shirt on, and he'll do whatever he wants them to do next. Cool with MJF, but Cole wants to play video games. It happens to be Fight Forever, where they bond over how they're going to turn on each other. Oh, they win the titles in the game and wrap up the segment. Next up, Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy taking on Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia, formerly the Red Death. I don't know, his promo, Titantron still says it, but they never call him that anymore. Anyway, in this one, it was more of the same that happened in the last match. For example, Cassidy and Garcia are trading roll-ups with each other until they end up trading shots to the face for a double knockdown. Sammy misses a superstar press as Garcia Dragon Tamers Cassidy. Cue Prince Nana to come in and hand Garcia the skateboard, with Allen going after Garcia. Swerve Strickland with the cheap shot. The GTA's hits Allen. He picked up the pin this time to make sure they get the victory and not get the pin stolen from him. So there's still teasing tension between each other there. Next up, they show a video of Nick Wayne, as I spoke of, who's been training to wrestle since he was 9 years old. Well, it's 9 years later, and it's time for him to climb into the ring. He talked about his father died at that same time, and now he wrestles for the both of them. Roger Strong with the neck brace at Adam Cole, who's really starting to like MJF. Cole gets attached from MJF, saying that he has the flu and might not be able to go. Next up, another blind eliminated tag team match for the semifinals. Brian Cage and Big Bill taking on MJF and Adam Cole, baby. I love how MJF plays into it, because so he's like all about him. Like MJF comes out and he does his song, and then he stops because he know it's all about the boom. It's about to come out, right? So he's all flashing the shirt, and he when he
I think
so you know how Roger remember how Roger Strong will run around him while he gets ready to go Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah.
MJF now does the same exact shit. When he does the boom, MJF's all like, he's all cheese with it and shit. It's hilarious. He's just totally playing into it. Anyway,
that's on the best time of this video.
that's what makes it good. Is that he's playing.
Do all the running around in the ring, and then like it's all about the boom. They just said, "I'm like, yeah." Oh, they need to bring Undisputed Era back.
So
They
anyway,
got all three of them over there.
this match ends up. I'm not even sure to call them good guys. Only half of them technically are, but this one goes the way of the good guys. To follow his plan, Samoan drop combination has Cole and MJF in more trouble. Not that it matters. Cole's right back up there to boom on Brian Cage for the victory out of nowhere. 10 minutes and 14 seconds. This is the post match where it nods how over he is in Canada, and Cole has his own catchphrase. He says, "Do the thing, do the thing." Just Adam Cole, baby.
Do the thing.
MJF says the double clothesline is coming, and we'll get there. We're going to get a rare double clothesline. And then he got a double clothesline chant after explaining boundaries, because he tried to touch him like on his hand, like give him dap. And he's like, "No, bro. I told you boundaries, bro. Boundaries." He says, "I never expected this to work, but so far we're doing pretty well, and we're ready to win this tournament." Roger Strong's in the back watching, and he's not impressed. Jake Hager goes up to Chris Jericho, like, "You're not really thinking about this Don Callis offer." He says, "I followed you. I saved you back in Baghdad or in the Middle East." He talks about when they were on the WWE tour. And he says, "I followed you this whole way." He says, "I don't know if I can follow you on this one." And he hands over the purple hat. And I said, "Thank God. Stop wearing that stupid fucking hat." Women's Own Heart Tournament, Sammy Ruby Soho taking on Skyeth Blue. Half and half crab sends Blue over the ropes. She gets her leg on it to stop it though, and then So hits a mid rope, no future for the pin after 8 minutes and 30 seconds to move on to the final. Next up, Harley Quinn has her music video called Rap Lessons. Just watch it.
Rap lessons.
I've given my
I get
opinion.
why you get the whole rap. You trying to say like Rap God off Eminem, basically. That's and you rapping. Okay.
I've given my opinion on this
more
shit.
of it.
Exactly.
I'm not about to watch that shit.
It was
I
trash.
probably will just for laughs.
The
though.
rap, like the main
laugh.
rap parts weren't trash. It's just not believable. But then when she starts trying to speed rap, it just makes me clutch my face even more guffaw. Like, oh, get this chot shit off my TV.
I'm gonna have to check it out just for laughs. If it gives me laughs, I'm cool with that.
I don't know. It'll give you more cheese than laughs, but all right.
I laugh at some cheesiness.
Next up is the debut of Nicketh Wayne taking on Swerve Strickland. I like he comes out with Prince Nana. Prince Nana's swerving to the song like this as he walks down behind him. It just looks funny as hell. Great match by Nick Wayne. Great debut. He doesn't get the victory, though. His mom's right there in front row in the crowd. Darby Allin comes out halfway through cheering him on. And straight up, no cheating. I think Nana tried to cheat a couple different times, but this is pretty much straight up. Swerve Strickland does win. Great showing by the kid, though. He got all the shit in. His move is called the Wayne's World. It's a springboard cutter. I like that. I like how he set up the springboard cutter. Also, he set it up like this crazy, like a poison runner from the top rope, and then went into the Wayne's World. But
I love people that use their names as their finishers, and it's so raw.
Plus, pop culture reference with the Wayne's World too.
Like you got with Wayne's. We say Wayne's World.
It's called Wayne's World.
Soul Ruko got the Soul Snatcher. Like I love when you use your name as your finisher. It makes it that much more better. It's ironic because hers like a cutter from like the top rope too, and I like the Cody cutter. Okay, everybody use their name for moving some kind of a cutter. I like it though. Everybody need to use their names as finishers.
So after that, Swerve only gets 2 out of that. Swerve counters a Hurricanrana attempt into a powerbomb basically off the top rope. You got the last call, and while he glared at Darby Allin, and hit the JML driver to finish him off, which is basically the made in Japan.
Yeah.
That Shingo Takagi hits, basically the same thing. So he gets the victory with that. So Young Wayne didn't win his first match, but great showing. I got to give him props in that. And that was actually the main event match, but not the main event moment. Here comes out Don Callis to announce the 5th member for Blood and Guts. Callis mocks Omega, which of course brings out Omega. He gets cut off by Moxley and Chikeshita before he even gets to the ring. They start jumping him. He starts to fight back for he's smacked from behind the chair by
Pac,
the returning Pac. Says, remember you broke my nose and you got to the Trios Championship? Now I'm getting my revenge against you, is basically what he said. They put his neck in a chair. They're going to jump off the top rope, try to break his nose, break his neck, break his face. And of course, stupidly, as heels do. Before they do this, they say, you got any last words? You got any last words? And Moxley puts the mic to his face. He says, check the screen. Check our members on the screen. Check the screen. And of course, it's a video of the Golden Star Kota Ibushi. So, of course, that left them devastated to hear this. The Elite run in and make the save on Omega, and he promised to destroy Callis after Blood and Guts. And that was the end of Dynamite for this week.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right.
I'm going to run through Rampage through the speed that you ran through, Raw. If you want to do SmackDown now, you can. If not, I will lightning quick through this so you can go to that.
I still got to do NXT. You want to run through NXT?
Yeah, they're going too far forward. My bad. Do NXT, then we'll come back to this.
All right. Basically, this NXT was basically about Judgment Day. Judgment Day was here. Tony D'Angelo still in jail. Said he want to trust stats, but he keep hearing bad things. Gigi Dolan basically gives a quick promo about how Kiana James is high from her past. We get Chase U versus Charlie Dempsey and your boy Gabagulak.
Gabagoo.
Yeah, Gabagoo loses. At 11 minutes.
Of course.
But this time, he loses because Thea Hale gets payback, puts him in a Kimura lock, which leads to the flatline finisher for the win. So she got her payback. You cost her championship match, she gonna cost you this match. This match. Von Watter talked about it gives his childhood as a kid. He said how he was like an outcast. It wasn't aesthetically as being a monster. Cora Jade beats Kaylani Jordan in 4 minutes. Then we get Dragunov versus Braun Breaker. It actually wasn't your main event. Great back and match forth. Old challenger, top challenger, credibility match. They work well together. Hard hand fight. Dragunov sold like hell for Breaker. Dragunov gets the win here after Torpedo, so he gets Hayes next. So he's next in line for the NXT Championship. Better
matchup to me. Ilya goes hard. Not that Braun Breaker doesn't. I thought that was their boy, so I was totally expecting him to get put over on that. So good shit.
Wesley talks about being ready for Ali when Dominic Mysterio comes up and said, "You haven't had an open challenge in a while." I haven't had an open challenge in a while. Dominic accept it. So basically, next week he's going to challenge for the title. Barry Corbin, John Rouse saying he don't know who he is because he changed so many times. Then he comes to some torches and asks who he is. So he going to another character change.
Bum, 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 bum.
Next we get Ivy Now versus Tiffany Stratton. Diamond Chinlock gets broken up to a Regal Roll to the prettiest moonsault ever. Stratton gets the win at 4 minutes. 4 minutes. They didn't give time. They didn't give him time here. Now got some offense in. They got crap with time in this.
Can she actually have the nerve to call that the prettiest moonsault ever when Io Sky exists? in her own
right?
company.
I know, right? I said the same thing. Like, you gotta change that. I mean, but the thing about her moonsault though is technically hers is kind of like a twist invader bomb. I don't know why they changed the prettiest moonsault ever, but like she need to go back to that. Like, remember I told her finisher would be like the twist invader, she like hop off the ropes, twist herself in midair like a Vader bomb. That'd be her finisher. Noam Dar still depressed. Blair Davenport mocks Roseanne Perez for taking a beating. We get Stacks versus Joe Coffey. Stacks win. Charles gets Tony Diaz dropped, and they get another shot at the tag team title. Otherwise, they go into trial. Don't matter. Running to the back of the head finishes Tony D'Angelo at 10 minutes. So,
Gallus retained.
yeah. So, Schism come up to Ivy now, who accuses Gates of being a masked man last week. They invite now to join Schism. Because, damn Creed brother leaving. Then we get Hayes and Trick Williams versus Judgment Day. This comes from the Raw where Finn Balor. This comes from a while back before Money in the Bank. Hayes is on Raw. He saved Seth Rollins from a chair attack. Hayes gets sent into the briefcase. South of Heaven, coup de grace, the 13-minute match. Great match. And the show ends with Hayes and Dragunov basically yelling at each other.
Hayes took the pin.
Yes, Hayes did take the pin.
Interesting.
Hayes took the pin.
And that's the end of the show?
That's the end of the show.
All right, get ready because it's going to go right back to you.
All right.
All right, Rampage. Not that it was a bad show. I just feel like speeding through it because we still have a lot left of our show, and we still both have a show apiece. I have 2 shows to still cover here. All right, so.
You got 2 shows last year? What?
I got a Battle in the Belts, which I'm going to rush through as fast as I rush through this Rampage. And I Collision.
Oh, yeah.
The Collision was more important than the Battle of the Belts. That's why
I got SmackDown.
I said it like that.
I think that'd be my last show.
All right, this match opens up with Dustin Rhodes and Keith Lee taking on Angelo Parker and Matt Menard. This is just a random tag team match. Had nothing to do with the tag team eliminator match. Dustin is back in the ring, cleans house, and a supernova finishes off Parker in 9 minutes and 50 seconds for the victory. They have a name for this tag team. I think it's called like.
I was thinking now, like,
it's
what's the name of their team?
I want to say Totally Limitless or something Limitless.
Yeah, naturally
Limitless.
Naturally limitless.
Yeah, there you go.
Like that.
That's what it is. Naturally Limitless. Next up, your favorite
Like
moment of the
name.
show. QT Marshall.
Court.
In QTV time with Harley Cameron Harley Cameron's proud of her supposed success from this rap video, she says. They cut to Johnny TV, who challenges the acclaimed Billy Gunn to a 6-man tag. The funny part about it was when they showed him at first, right? And he was listening. They said he was listening to their album, like he had some earbuds in, and he was looking at his phone. Look at it. So he was looking at his phone like this, right? And it was a garbage can like right here. He threw the phone up and then kicked it, and it just hit the back of the garbage can and smacked in like a basketball shot off the backboard. He was like, totally trash. You had to see it. I was dying. Like, what the fuck? So, they challenged him to that. Next up, Ty Valkyrie, Izzy McQueen. There was no reason for this. This match literally went 24 seconds. Beat her with a curb stop. Ty Valkyrie with the victory. This is just to set up the next thing, which I told you was on Battle of the Belts. Her having a beef with Toni Storm. She calls Ty a loser, calls her out because she's Canadian, so she challenged her to a match for that belt, and she got pushed into accepting. Hook is having lunch and accepts Jungle Boy's challenge for the title match next week. He's tired of chasing Jungle Boy around. Next up, Trent Beretta taking on Lance Archer. Lance Archer dogs him.
I believe it.
Hits a blackout and a hard lariat to finish off
50?
Beretta. Nah, 8 minutes and 55 seconds.
Oh.
Gave him some time. Post-match, Archer beats up Chuck Taylor as well. Orange Cassidy comes out to make the save, which leads to their title match is going to be on Battle of the Belts also. Next up, told you we got another one. There's a wild slap nuts in the loose. Diddlin', diddlin'.
J-E-double-F, J-A-double-R-E to the double T. Jump jar, baby.
Woo! They come out, plus Matt Hardy and Ethan Page, and they'll all be in the Royal Rampage, which is basically, I guess, the version of the Battle Royal or something. That'd be on next week's Rampage or something like that. It's not important. Next up, Konosuke Kateska taking on Metallo, wins in 4 minutes. Leg drop tombstone into a top rope backsplash, finishes off Metallo. And then we have the main event, which is Athena taking on Willow Nightingale. Athena, of course, the women's world champion of Ring of Honor, but that title was not on the line. She had to deal with a lot of power from Nightingale on this one. Spinebuster gets a 2 count, but the Babe with the power bomb is broken up. Athena hits a gourd buster and an elbow for a good 2 count. Backsplash misses Willow. Athena stands back up for a moonsault and he gets 2 count out of that. After Athena misses a spinning knee to the face, she gets rolled up for the upset victory by Willow Nightingale, who moves on to the final to take on Ruby Soho. And that happens the next night on Collision. So we'll get to that on my next review.
All right, I will go.
Sorry, I think your Raw went faster than that.
I will go to SmackDown. It starts off with Jey Uso, who's in the back, but it really starts off with Bianca Belair. For those who question if she's going to turn heel, the answer is hell no, because she was super ass over to start this match with some fine. Her outfits be damn Montez Ford. I know I be talking. What's the name? I be talking. Anyway, she said she gets her rematch for the women's title tonight. She said she's been waiting for it. Charlotte said that how Belair had gotten her fighting up, and she stumbled that she's going to walk out. They basically make a little pat saying, like, I'm not going to interfere in your match tonight. You beat her, me and you. If don't, then she get next like that. Sheamus come out. They get ready. Brawling Brute versus Pretty Deadly. Enjoy this one.
Yeah, boy. Sorry, I'm over here prepping.
Oh, you're fine. Prince gets the pin at 10 minutes and 21 seconds. But the fortunate news in this match is Wilson got hurt in this match. He has a separated shoulder. He'll be out indefinitely. Definitely.
Damn, so no more yeah, boy for a while.
We get Selena Vega versus Bayley. Bayley wins this match in like 1 minute and 46 seconds. Now we get Shotzi, who pops up on the screen. Remember a couple weeks ago they tried to cut her hair, and she said she can't be controlled. So she starts like
cutting her own hair.
But they said because her sister just found out that she has cancer, so she's cutting her hair like
solidarity
with her sister. So that's the real reason she did.
That's awesome of her. Quick sidebar: did you also know that they're basically the lady that replaced Renee Paquette over there in WWE? I'm not gonna call her by her slave name. But do you know she just gave somebody a kidney? The backstage announcer lady.
No.
Yeah, there's a story about it. She just gave somebody a kidney. She said she was asked, to help, and she said, "This is the best way I can, so I'll just give you one."
Damn.
Yeah.
Respect. Next, we get into Jey Uso, who is super pissed off. He talk about how you have brothers, but it's something special about being twins. One hurt, they both hurt. He said one is hurt bad. He said he respects everybody in the family except Roman Reigns. He called Paul Heyman a leech, who said he leached on his family for 40 years. Paul Bailey says it's his fault. He gets Solo Mike and said, Solo said, I'll never forgive you neither. So he basically blaming Jay for what happened as well. After this, Solo goes, they exchange. Solo eats a super kick. Paul Heyman is all alone by himself. He eats a super kick. Super kick. He goes to get the chair. Solo wound up eating the chair shot, rolls out the ring. So next we get Grayson Waller versus Butch versus AJ Styles versus Santos Escobar. The winner of this match faces the winner of another fatal 4-way shot for the U.S. title. Escobar hits a crossbody to get the pin on Waller at 12 minutes. Fun match. Post-match, Styles said he'll get Cross because Cross came out here and caused AJ Styles the match, so they're still going to go. Street Profits are waiting for somebody. A limo arrived, and guess who's in that limo? It is Bobby Lashley. Hurt Business possibly might be getting back together, probably.
Why?
We ain't sure.
Why?
Next, Rey Mysterio's ready to get the U.S. title. Cameron Grimes said he's ready to get the U.S. title. Shane's ready to get the U.S. title.
To the moon.
But it comes out to. But first we get your boy L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Puma Asics in the house. Yeah.
You talk about how everybody is using his name to get views and clicks. He's the best decision the company ever made. Call him the megastar. You can sooner or later call him the GOAT because there's only one person that has the it factor, and that's L.A. Knight has it. So you what's the name? Oscar versus Bianca Belair.
Quick sidebar for you, team. Did you know, dude's like 44?
Yeah.
They love signing cats when they are old, bro. I swear they do. That's how they did Bobby Roode.
Yeah.
I ain't seen him in almost a year or something.
Surgery. Still with his neck and everything.
Gotcha.
His career might be over, possibly.
Damn, that sucks. Okay, good.
So Bailey and Sky comes out here trying to interfere again in the match. Charlotte takes down Bailey and then accidentally spears Belair, who sold the spear like pure death. Like she like flipped over and like was just like he threw the hell out that spear. Charlotte gets dropped off as well. Sky, who loads up the moonsault on Asuka, who missed Bailey and runs away. Sky is super pissed because like Bailey, like you can see it. Bailey is like intentionally like ruining these cash ins for EO. And that was the end of SmackDown.
All right, over to Collision. Starts off with my match of the week. FTR taking on Bullet Club Gold. 2 out of 3 falls for the tag team titles. Let's go fall by fall. First fall, everything gets broken up and the Shatter Machine is blocked. And when that gets blocked, I was about to say Blade White. Jay White turns it into a Blade Runner to get the first fall on Dax Harwood. Actually, no, it might have been on Cash. 16 minutes, 34 seconds. This match went almost an hour. It went about 58 minutes total. It was the whole first hour of the show.
Man.
Commercials included. The second fall happened at about 37 minutes in. Nothing else was working for them. A blind tag by Wheeler. And ended up hitting a Shatter Machine to tie it up at 37-30. Then they really start getting into the throes of it. Shades a hell of a lot of 2 counts in this match. Eventually we get down to the end. FTR gets stereo sharpshooters. Then everything falls apart from there. Backup Harwood grabs another sharpshooter on Jay Robinson. He's been working on his leg the whole match. This time he finally gets up and tags out to retain the titles for FTR. Post-match.
We need a skill bone moment, man. Come on, Tony.
I haven't really had one recently.
I know. It's not your fault. It's Tony's fault.
So they offer a handshake after the match because it was a great battle, but Bullet Club walks away, of course. They show a video of Blood and Guts coming up. Next up will be the Owen Hart Foundation Finals for the women. Ruby Soho taking on Willow Nightingale. Match only went 9 minutes. No Future gets a 2 count, but Willow is back up and hits her with the pounce. The Babe with the power bomb, which is basically just a sit-out power bomb, snatches the 3 count in the victory for Willow. Got it clean. There was no interference ringside by none of the Outcasts, Saraya and Toni Storm, on behalf of Ruby Soho. So that was good to see. Good to see her run up and get that title. We have the other match in the main event. Back to where we are currently on the show. QT Marshall is costing Powerhouse Hobbs the Owen Hart title match last week. Marshall begs Hobbs for his forgiveness, but Hobbs once again doesn't really seem impressed. Next up, the Kings of the Black Throne have a squash match at 2 minutes and 51 seconds. This is ended with a black mass against some jobbers that are from our local guys from where they're at in Canada. This happens to be in Calgary. There's a big stare down post match because right at the end of the match, Andrade El Idolo came down. So they're preparing for, I guess, another match with Andrade and Malachi Black, this time in AEW, as opposed to their last one. They had a great one in NXT back in the day for the NXT title. Men's Women on Heart final, our main event of the evening. Good match. I'm feeling our process starts with Punk grabbing a headlock takeover. Starks reverses into one of his own. The fans aren't sure what to make of it so far. Punk sends him to the outside, crashing through and holding the ropes. Opening starts up to return in as we take a quick break. Coming back from break, Punk misses a charge into the corner line. Starts to hit the ropes, to hit a rope walk and send Punk to the outside. Punk back in and drops him again. This time setting up Bret Hart's 5 moves of doom. The chin lock goes on for a bit too long until Stark slips away and pulls Punk off the middle rope. We take another break, come back with Punk charging into a raised boot into the corner. Stark misses the top rope elbow though, and a hammerlock lariat gives Punk a 2 count. Frustration seems to be setting in, and stereo cross bodies leave both men down. Back up, Punk grabs for a guillotine choke, but Starks makes it to the rope. Stark sat in top for a super Hurricane Rana, which is countered into a roll up, and Starks counters that roll up and then grabs the ropes. This match went 19 minutes and 30 seconds. Flew by faster than that though. Starks, surprisingly, Punk put somebody over. Starks gets the victory. Did you hear how I said he won?
Oh, you put him over.
He basically won.
CM Punk.
They did a double roll up,
Still
and
hate you, by the way, but okay.
it was
Good
they did a double roll up spot, and then they did a third roll up. Starks with this one grabs the ropes, then snatches the title.
Oh.
Post match, Juice and Thunder Liger was coming to present the title, but at the same time he was kind of holding it back, like, "Hey, what the hell was that?" Because he saw him cheat. Starks runs up, snatches it out his hand in the spin move, and it's like, "Yeah!" Starts holding it up.
So he back heel now?
I'm not sure yet, but he cheated to win and got the victory here. That is kind of continued on Battle of the Belts, which we'll talk about right quick before we get into Mount Rushmore and the news of the week, and also Dark Side. So we still about 30 minutes left here in the show. So Battle of the Belts, opening match was Murder Hawk Lance Archer taking on Orange Cassidy. Also, by the way, Ian Riccaboni filled in this week for Kevin Kiley, who was back in New Japan covering the G1, I'm assuming.
He shouldn't be covering for nobody if he fit El Idelo. If you can't get the name right.
Yeah, that's true.
He actually syllabalized. He syllabalized his name.
Yeah, he did.
That's what he did.
Yes, he did. This match, of course, was Cassidy getting tossed around, still nursing all his injuries he's had over the last couple months. He's been an international champion. Jake got involved in this one. He was loading up a DDT, but Lance Archer stopped him. And he shouldn't have, because only helped Orange Cassidy hit his DDT of his own on him. They fought in aprons, so Cassidy knocked him down to the floor and wins by countout. So it keeps Lance Archer looking strong and the title on Orange Cassidy. Of course, Archer was pissed off about this post-match, but nothing really happened.
Can't get pissed. You left yourself up.
Tony Schiavone brings out the Acclaim. They dropped the weakest Max Caster rap he's had in months. Not that all the rest of them were that great, but this one, it was like locally.
He hit and miss.
It was locally
He be hit and
tens.
miss.
This was a miss. It was locally tens, talking about hot cowgirls and this and that. It was just kind. It was kind of weak to me. It's because they were. It's they were in Calgary, so it's the world's largest rodeo.
Oh.
It happened to be at the same time as this episode, so that's why he tied the flow into it. Next week, they're going to challenge for the trios titles against the House of Black. They did a 4-way scissor with Tony. Next up, Tony Storm taking on Taya Valkyrie. This match went about 11 minutes. I think it went about 7 minutes too long for the result that you got out of it anyway. It was basically Tony Storm dominating for a while and cheating and kind of acting cowardly at times, but eventually she did get the victory in this one. Moving on from here, Tony Khan comes out. He presents Martha Hot. Comes out in a white top and some jeans and cowboy boots, themed for the occasion. They bring out Willow Nightingale and Ricky Starks. She gives a speech about the greatness of Calgary and what it means to them to carry on Owen's legacy. So that was a good thing. Nothing was mentioned about Starks cheating, though. So we'll see where that goes from there. I'm sure Punk's going to bring that shit up. Next up is your main event. Sean Spears taking on Luchasaurus. Since he's basically...
Was he there with him?
No.
Damn. I said that for no reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, no, actually he was there. I'm fault.
Yo!
If you look into my eyes, we ain't got time for it. Anyway. Scars never heal. That whack shit. Anyway, he was there with the distraction. Of course he's there. It's fucking Canada. I don't know why I said he wasn't there. He was there. I didn't pick up on the cue before. That's what it was. Anyway, Cage offers a distraction though, and the Northern Lights Lariat retains the title in proxy for Cage through Luchasaurus. I guess that's the best way to describe it. And that was the end of Battle of the Belts. All right. So let's get into news right quick, and we'll end with Dark Side reviews and our Mount Rushmore.
I got some loaded up. Let me go to the ones I got loaded up to try to cover some space.
All right.
First one. Congratulations to Nikki Cross. She received her master's degree. She graduated from the University of Edinburgh with a master's in history. She got an A for her paper, I guess, was on dissertation of women's wrestling. She said she planned on getting her PhD. She said she's not going to quit WWE, so she's not going to let her career affect her. What's the name? Which, respect. Big E said he don't have a timetable for his return. He said he don't have a timetable. He said he feel great, but the thing is, he don't even feel like somebody who broke their neck. His mobility is great. His strength is great. He has no issue. But fortunately, he don't have no answers on returning to the ring. So I don't know if it sounds like more of like a probably like a wanna wait. What's the name? Sergeant Slaughter felt he was slapped in the face after not being invited to Undertaker's Hall of Fame ceremony.
Salty bitch.
He has been to Saudi a lot lately. Well, he took issue because he feel like he helped discover Taker. He said, I found Mark Calloway in a box of tapes. A lot of people knew my background, sir. I had to work in the office. My job to go through this wannabe office. Tapes and boxes. I had to go through all these things. Mark Calloway, I bought him and said, Vince, you got to see this guy. He's in WCW. He got short red hair, but he's a talent. Vince said, well, I never heard of him, so bring him in. He said he called him up. He said, Vince, where did you find this guy? And basically saying that, he got him Percy Pringle, who was actually a pallbearer at the time. He basically trying to say he literally discovered Undertaker. What's the name? Yeah, so... And he basically just said he's salty about the fate. He said, if you're listening, Mark Calloway, I just want to ask you one thing. I found you in a box of tapes. Sergeant Slaughter found you in a box of tapes. Called you 3 times because the first few times you hung up on me because you didn't believe it was me. So I gave the office number and said, ask me when you call this number. Oh, is it you? Yeah, it's me. It's Sergeant Slaughter, the guy that found you, the guy that bought you the Vince McMahon. Here's your guy. This is your guy. How can I not be invited? I should have been in the front row.
How about he didn't plan it, you silly fuck? Maybe the company did that and said you weren't important enough to be there, dickhead. It just makes me mad hearing him talk about this shit. If I was Taker, I'd go at his neck on that shit. Like, first of all, bitch, like, hold the fuck on. like, let's get this story straight here. You know what I'm saying?
Well, now some good news. How about your boy Ric Flair released a new woo energy drink? This shit gonna be a mushroom-infused energy drink.
Oh, God. So it has something to do with trees? I didn't know that.
It says available at wooenergy.com. A 6-pack of the case is going for $30. But
a 6-pack?
But you must be 18 to purchase.
Because it got trees in it. That's why. All right, got you.
It says blended with taurine, L-theanine, and go-to cola extract and balance of 150 milligrams of caffeine with 6 grams of sugar available in dragon fruit, lemon, and strawberry banana.
All right.
A 6-pack, yeah. It's a 6-pack could be up $30 for 18 up. Yeah, it's an elixir drink. So yeah, basically, yeah, it's alcohol.
Gotcha.
This story will not load up. The one I want to load up won't load up.
We'll move on. We're running out of time.
Brian Pillman was seen at the Performance Center. He was at their facility July 13th, 2 days after he was released from AEW. But the thing that was standing out was Utami Hashishita was there at the Performance Center after being invited by Io Sky. She was training with Natalya earlier in the week. She said she will see her soon. She traveled to the United States earlier in the month, made her GCW debut on July 8th, where she defeated Billy Stark. Then she defeated Janai Kai at JCW Big Ass Extreme Birthday event. And then she would fight at the Now and Forever event. So, and the other stories I got, I'm gonna let you go because they Mount Rushmore, since we going into Mount Rushmore. So I want to tie them all together. I just need to stick. The one story I want, the load won't load up though. That's the Sable story.
It's all good. We'll get back to it eventually. Yeah. All right. So, Umaga's kid made his wrestling debut in Booker T's company, Rowdy of Wrestling. His name is Zilla Fatu. So I thought I'd mention.
What's his name?
Zilla.
Zilla? Okay.
Like Godzilla.
Okay. Next
up, Tony Khan discusses everything changing everything before Dishonor's main event. So the show's coming up. He was expressing that he hoped to have Eddie Kingston back from New Japan in time for the card, but it's not going to happen. So you were going to get a rematch of him versus Claudio. So since that's not able to happen, basically he's not gonna be able to fly back and participate in it. I think he probably would have won the title in my opinion. They also have Mark Briscoe, who was supposed to be part of the event, dealing with an injury. So they're not exactly sure. I'm skipping around a lot on it. So basically, he's talking about Eddie Kingston was supposed to be in there, so now they changed a lot of other stuff, and also Mark Briscoe not being able to happen here because they kind of could have put him in that spot.
I was about to ask why didn't they?
Because his injury.
Oh,
so that's why it makes him have to change everything even more. So. Also, Tony talked about AEW doing more than just a pay-per-view every 2 or 3 months. He said a monthly pay-per-view will be an overall positive. He says, quote,
I like it when they do it every 3 months, though.
I like it like that, too.
I like it like that, too.
But it says, quote, this is on his media call before Death Before Dishonor. He said, quote, I think everything's evolving. I believe no wrestling company has ever expanded a pay-per-view calendar due to the demand and the economics that have ever regretted that decision. In general, there have been factors that have helped wrestling companies rise and fall over the years. But I do think expanding your pay-per-view calendar has often been something that has been seen as revenue positive and overall positive for companies. Certainly, where there's competition in the past, more pay-per-views was the standard. For us, we launched with a very methodical plan. We built a really solid calendar for major events. We're talking about 6 major events that are pay-per-view worthy. As for expanding the calendar even further, it's something we've talked about at the Warner Brothers Discovery, and it's something everyone believes could be a revenue positive. It's something certainly considered, but we're very happy with what we've built so far.
Got it.
We'll get there. Here we go. Got some funny stuff. Next two, my last two are funny, and I'll let you get back to that. First of the funnies. Teddy Hart reportedly arrested again last week for alleged drug possession.
Oh, Lord. Between him and Sonny, man. Jesus
the worst Hart.
Christ.
The worst Hart. TMZ reports that indie wrestler Teddy Hart, nephew of Bret Hart and Owen Hart, was arrested last week for drug possession. Hart was arrested in Titusville, Florida by the
domestic violence like some months ago. Oh Lord.
He was arrested in Titusville, Florida by the Titusville Police Department. I wonder if he had a bunch of cats with him again. Documents say that they found drugs, including steroids and ecstasy, were allegedly found in his rental car after a routine traffic stop. Police say they pulled over Hart around midnight of July 15th after running a red light and traveling at a high rate of speed in a 2022 Mustang. Following the stop, police claim they smelled an overbearing odor of burnt marijuana coming from his vehicle. They also report they saw unsealed medical marijuana containers with a faded label inside of a glove compartment.
Oh my God! It's medical marijuana. You ain't gotta do all that. You ain't gotta do all that.
Along with several pieces of loose leaf marijuana shake.
Oh my God!
On one of the car seats. So he was rolling up on the seat.
He was rolling up while he got pulled over.
He was rolling up on the seat before he got pulled over.
It's medical marijuana. You ain't gotta and what's the name labels. It's your proof right there. It's legal. You can carry it. Okay, now
you can't, but you can't smoke and drive.
You can't smoke and drive though. I don't. Yeah.
I continue. During the stop though, police said they smelled an overbearing odor of a burnt marijuana emanating from the vehicle and noticed an unsealed marijuana container with the faded label in the glove box. Like I said, they said all that shit. Anyway, I don't know why they repeated that twice. Anyway, so during the search of his car, police said they found a bag of red pills and a bag of red powder in her car that both tested positive for the presence of
red powder?
That both tested positive for the presence of MDMA, basically ecstasy. 2 vials were also reportedly found inside of a bag inside the car that were labeled mastrocin and testosterone symphosonate. I totally butchered that word. Which police say are known as anabolic steroids.
They labeled his drugs.
They're known as anabolic steroids. Another bag with blue powder found during the search said to have tested positive for more ecstasy.
Oh.
Hart's real name is Edward Annis. Was arrested and booked on 2 felony charges, including possession of MDMA and possession of a controlled substance without prescription. So he wasn't charged for the trees. He was charged for the steroids and charged for the ecstasy. He was later released for custody on that same day. Teddy Hart has a number of issues with the law going back years. He was last arrested in 2021 after being accused of being possessed of controlled substances. My last story, which is also funny.
Okay.
Did you know the famous Scott Steiner math promo was done in 2 takes? Samoa Joe reveals the news.
They give me 2 1/3 chance. 2 1/3 half chance % of getting it in 3 I don't know.
In an interview with Under the Ring via Fightful, Joe revealed that the infamous Steiner Man promo from Scott Steiner and TNA was filmed in over 2 takes. The reason was because Petey Williams couldn't keep it together.
I figured that. I know Petey Williams. I knew it. He was laughing through the roof. I knew it.
Quote Samoa Joe.
I knew it. I was gonna sound with the announcer too, though. But yeah, you could tell me watch the promo. Petey trying not to laugh.
Quote Samoa Joe, I was there for it live and it was hilarious. I was standing on the other side of the camera guy laughing. To Scott's credit, I think it was only a 2-take go, and I think the first take was just because Petey Williams broke because nobody was really expecting it. It was hilarious and still is.
Oh God.
That's my news.
All right. So the third story about Sable not. So you remember we talked about Sable name was not allowed to be mentioned on TV.
Yeah.
This go back to when Ed was on the Grayson Waller show. He started as Sable's mystery partner in 1998. He actually said her name. Now, this was during the virtual signing with Tori Wilson. She said that even in her Hall of Fame speech, she was told not to mention Sable. Said you had to go to Timbuktu in Minnesota to find her because she's completely removed from pro wrestling. I mentioned her name in the Hall of Fame speech, and then they told me, oh, by the way, you're not allowed to mention her name. So, and they said, remember, there's a lot of bad stuff that came out about Sable, too, though. Like, a lot of people ain't like her. Management didn't like her. Damn, no, like.
I mean, she is married to one of your biggest stars you have in the company right now, so...
So that's it. And then, of course, my last three is Mount Rushmore's. Superstar doing Mount Rushmore.
Before we get to that, let's talk about what led into the Mount Rushmore, which is the Dark Side of the Ring, which made its return. Back on May 30th, the first episode was about Chris Candido and Tammy Sitch. She's currently, we know her situation, we've mentioned it many times in this show. She's currently involved in jail.
About that one.
And I thought it was a good one. I thought it was sad because he should still be alive in wrestling right now if it wasn't for her. You know what I'm saying? And then he died off of, I ain't gonna say he was stupid. It was just something stupid.
It's hard to say.
Like a blood clot floated to his heart because he flew.
He flew after he had surgery.
Yeah,
which you're not supposed to do.
Yeah,
to go back to what's the name? That, I mean, also too. In a way, I want to say I feel sorry for Sunny in a way because like she never wanted to get into the wrestling business. It's just that circumstances forced her to get into it.
She was so good at it.
And she was so good at it so fast.
Yeah.
So fast. I think she just didn't. She literally came in to support him. I'm gonna beat her, and then it's like it kind of just like blew up fast. I think her role. She wanted her role to be kind of like Miss Elizabeth was. You know, like she was there, but like Miss Elizabeth didn't get involved in nothing.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
like she was just there. I think that was her role, and then
But
she lived in the fast. She got popular, and then they say when you get money and fame, your true colors start to show.
I was basically gonna say she's the narrator of her own demise because she got involved in drugs in the industry, and then started sleeping around with dudes backstage, starting with Shawn Michaels. Or it could have been someone else before him, but everybody knew. So then they started hating her. Like they talked about the Godwins had a slot bucket, and everybody put their nut, spit, piss, and shit in this bucket. Every wrestler in that locker room, and then they dumped it in her head on live TV.
Yeah.
And then what they did was he said, "Now this slot bucket, y'all can't touch. It's for Sonny. We're gonna leave it right here and go talk to Vince. We'll be right back." Which gave them the time to fill it up with all of their bodily fluids. I guess is the best way to say that.
Yeah.
So it was sad, but she's a maker of her own demise, and the addiction problems led to a mutual self-destruction, which Chris tried to climb out of, as we said, but the surgery ended up leading to his demise. That sucked for him. I felt bad for his brother because his brother looked up to him, you know, and that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I felt, like I said, she did the dark, it was the call of her demise, but I could feel a little sorry for her because like she just didn't want to get into there. Like, she got in there, lived the fast lane, and look at it now. And it do sucks too that he wasn't supposed to leave because he had the blood clot.
So, episode number 2 is Shattered Dreams. Talk about living fast. Magnum TA, who basically was found and brought into the business, he had such a shining star that went up so fast.
Yeah.
He started in Florida, was only down there for like a year and a half before Dusty stole him from Florida and brought him to Mid-South, which led into going into
What's that with Jim Crockett?
yeah, Jim Crockett. He was gonna win the title.
Yeah, they said
Before he got hurt in his car crash, he had such a rising star. Everybody knew it. They were down for it. He was gonna be the next. Matter of fact, remember when Ronnie Garvey won it in '86? Not that you necessarily watching it back then, but you know what I'm talking about. Ronnie Garvey won it from Sting.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be Magnum TA.
Yeah.
That's why they did that random ass storyline of Garvin winning it out of nowhere, because that was supposed to be TA's spot and he got hurt. Yeah. And he's still alive to this day and still around doing his thing.
God, he felt so bad about it too. Like he knew himself. He knew that like.
But he still has a life to live today, and he doesn't harp on it still. So that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. But for a while, he did though. Like he looked at like he felt he was the reason the company like went over. He like they was about to push it on me. I love the story how they said that like, babe, you didn't break actual kayfabe. And Ric Flair and all
they snuck him in.
They snuck him in so that they could see him while he was in the accident and everything like that. Which
so I thought that was
awesome.
cool. Yeah, I thought that was cool too. So next episode is Breaking the Cycle, the saddest episode
Definitely the saddest
of
one
the season,
so far.
One of the saddest of all time. About the Graham family. If you don't know, the patriarch, one of the main patriarchs, Eddie Graham had a son named Mike who also had his own son, and they all committed suicide at different times of their life. All three.
Go back even that
and then if you go back, you find out the grandfather and great grandfather also committed suicide. And the only way it stopped so far is because there was a daughter who decided to break the cycle, and it's Mike's daughter who her brother was one of the ones that committed suicide to the family. And it was amazingly sad. They basically started Florida Championship Wrestling and found many of the great guys that were down there, like Dusty, Kevin Sullivan came from down there during that time.
The one story that got me
there's a lot of great guys
about that one was the story Jim Cornette said. I don't say was it Eddie, I think? No, Eddie's partner, because he talked about back then you look like somebody, they would put you on the circuit and say that like y'all was brothers. And they said that they was running high, but then he had an incident where like I think his mom went to the hospital for some surgery, and he said that my mom better not die in this hospital. Fortunately, she died. They said he came in here with a shotgun, a revolver, firing shot at the doctor. Doctor picks up his dead mom, puts her over his shoulder,
and takes her because he wanted to bury her.
Because he wanted to bury her. I'm like, what the fuck kind of
You're
shit?
speaking of Eddie Graham's original tag partner that got him into the business.
Yeah.
I forgot his name, but he looked exactly like Eddie Graham. Eddie Graham dyed his hair blonde, looked just like him and stuff like that.
If you look alike, you can they'll put you in. You
like
can get
thinking
in,
you guys are brothers.
Yeah.
He changed his name to Graham because Graham actually wasn't his original name.
Yeah.
The next episode was Doink the Clown, a.k.a. Matt Bourne. Well, he's another author of his own demise because he just couldn't stop getting fucking high. If you could stop getting high and being an asshole, you'd have been fine.
The circumstance around his death
that was kind of sketch.
Like,
Very sketch. And the daughter and the mom think that
she killed
the girlfriend did it. And the girlfriend keeps saying, no, but... That was crazy. If you don't, what we're talking about, they found him dead on his own porch. He OD'd, and instead of sending him to the hospital, calling not ambulance sooner, she just thought he was sleeping and just let him sit there like gurgling from the mouth.
Yeah.
He was giving signs that he was in distress, and you just ignored them, kind of.
Yeah.
That's how it seemed. She tried to explain herself out of it, but that's how it came off.
The way I look at his is kind of how I look at Tommy Morrison's. If you watch the 30 for 30 on Tommy Morrison,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of like how his family felt that like his final wife did him, like kind of in a way like. She took him to all these different doctors that she kept moving and traveling with everything like that. No one was bad for his health and everything like that.
But he had AIDS, though.
I
that was going to happen.
I mean, I know, but I'm talking about, like, doing all that traveling probably made his demise happen
this
quicker.
Cat, he did drugs too often. He got brought up to a top spot in WWE. They made the Doink character for him, and he was perfect for it. All because they seen him in the corner one day, hunched over, smoking the square. He said, "Oh my God, he does look like Krusty the Clown." So yeah, and then but at the height of it, he couldn't keep his shit together, so they fired him. And then they will really push him over the edges. That they put somebody else in the role, and that's when they started doing the thing with Doink and Dink and shit like that. That was a totally different guy. That wasn't Matt Bourne. That sent him over the edge because that should be me, and he knew he fucked up, so he gave it deeper in the drugs.
He thought that well, they made me doing crime. He tried to go over to Indies and use the name. They're like, Vince, like, no, you can't use the name. Like, and it did send him to a downward spiral. Again, his own demise though. Next one was the one on Junkyard Dog. I'm gonna utter some words that I probably will never utter. I'll be watching Jim Cornette's reviews of these Dark Sides. Mm-hmm. I agree with everything Jim Cornette said about the one on Junkyard Dog. I didn't like the way they portrayed him. Like,
what do you mean?
Like, okay, like
I felt they showed Dog a lot of love until they got to the later parts of his life.
Like they talked about when he first went to WWE, they try to make it seem like that, like, oh, he went over there and they just ain't like give a shit about him. Like, he was the number 2, 3 babyface when he came over there.
But he was never gonna be.
But he was never gonna be number one while Hogan was there.
And that's what the problem was, because where he was coming from, he was basically the number one.
It seemed like the way he explained
it. That's why Bill Watts was so hurt when he left.
Yeah, he basically made the way Cornette was making this, and I agree. The way he explained it basically was like they spent so much talking about the second half of the Dark Side, talking about all the bad. They made it seem like they talking about him bringing like 100 things of speed and lock. They basically seemed like that, like he destroyed his own career. Which, when you look at it, was just like he went over there, he wasn't gonna get that push that he got, and
I mean, he got as much as he got out of it. He was right there at the beginning of the rock and wrestling thing. He was one of the guys in the cartoon. He had the toys and all of that. He just didn't have the spot on the card.
Yeah.
And in that time in WWE, that wasn't gonna happen, whether it be because of skin color or because the man that was in the top spot is a gigantic piece of shit racist, or just because, you know, Hogan tactics, as we'll say, but. Yeah, that finish ain't gonna work for me, brother.
And the one thing I took away from that was Jake the Snake said, at the end he said, when he died, I want to quote this, I think he said, when he died, I was happy that he died. Not in a way like I'm happy that he died, like a way he's saying like I'm happy he ain't got to go through all them demons and everything he had to fight through them. Yeah. Like, it's sad he drove all the way to the door of graduation, missed it,
and that's how he died.
And he died driving back. Like, they said he probably was hyped up on so much drugs, his body just shut down on him, and he got into that. Then his daughter died on the phone from like a ruptured heart or something like that. Like, she died instantly. Sad. That's even more sadder.
Yeah, it was very, very sad. That was a sad way for him to go out. And then our final one of this season so far was last week's, which was the tragic fall of Adrian Adonis. This one was sad because I never knew all this about Adrian Adonis and his home life. Like, he was such a good dad and stuff, and it was completely different from his ring character.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't, like, they said, like, you know, he fooled around on drugs and stuff like that, but he didn't bring that home. His wife, to this day, though the man's been dead for over 30, 40 years, is still in love with him like he was here. You know, so, and that shows you the love that they had for him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And his daughters, they loved him.
His drug issues ain't really pick up until he went to WWF and he got changed into the...
But that was true, but that was mostly because he had to change his character in order to get over it. And, he did it and it worked. But it honestly wasn't what he wanted to do, and it was almost the same thing as Junkyard, as we were talking about with Tammy Sitch. There's a running theme on this season. If you go back, except for Magnum's, his wasn't like that, or the Grams for that matter. But everybody has some drug issue that they picked up that helped make their shit spiral out of control in the worst way. So it was the same thing for him.
Adonis got his life together. He got away from it.
And he kept it away from home. Yeah. They didn't even know about any of that.
Yeah.
That was totally away from that. And they said he was one of the biggest, baddest motherfuckers. The thing that fucked him up was that he started off as like kind of a biker character with the same name, Adrian Adonis, and he was just basically, his character was, I'm the baddest motherfucker. I'm from Buffalo. We'll get there. I'm the baddest motherfucker. I'm from Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody stop me. He used to come with a leather jacket to the ring.
That was the gimmick back then. You was a residential bad guy. You had the biker jacket.
Exactly. So then they brought it. He came into WWE like that, but they wanted him to change. They said, you're too much, kind of like one man gang or guys of that nature. So he went through the switch, and he came up with the idea of Adrian Adonis and pushing it to the limit, which makes sense. Going off of the likes of like Gorgeous George back in the day, and many effeminate type characters.
Buddy Rogers. No, not Buddy Rogers turned effeminate, but turned like with the hair and the like.
Yeah.
Stuff though, like
getting his nails done, stuff like that. Well, actually, he wasn't that. If you thought about it, he acted like that, but if you get his look, wasn't nothing like that. Honestly, other than the hair, he had like this ugly makeup and stuff. It was really weird.
The flower in his hair, like.
But it worked, and he made it work because people had a very big anti-homosexual thing back then. You know what I'm saying? The homophobia, I guess I would say. It was alive and well in America at that time, and he played into it excellently. The thing that got him wrong is that he took liberties in a match with Dan Spivey. Dan Spivey,
Yep.
if you don't know who he is, was part of the Twin Towers with him and Sid Vicious? I forgot their name in WCW, but they were a tag team together. Then also, he's the inspiration for the Bray Wyatt character, the Swamp Coat Leader character, when he had the Wyatt family. He was the inspiration of that because he did a character that was based on Max Cady from Cape Fear, which is Robert Nero's character in that movie.
Yeah.
Just so some people will know a little bit about Dan Spivey. So in this match against Dan Spivey thought that he was taking liberties with him in the match.
But they said that was the thing that he did though. They said he will rough a guy up like in the matches. Like he will sometimes go a little bit harder than he needed to.
Yeah.
And that rubbed a lot of wrestlers say he would do that, and it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. The problem I had with that was they said Spivey, I guess he said he brought to their attention, and they knew that y'all booked him the next day. And
They knew that shit could happen, and they didn't stop it.
And Spivey basically said, like, look, if he do it again, I'm gonna fuck him up, basically. Now he ain't say for me, like we gonna work.
He's gonna
with
take
that.
the matter into his own hands.
Yeah,
basically.
and that's what happened. He laid him hard. Then they get into the locker room. He walk in, try to spear him, tack down. He get hit with an uppercut.
He tried to fight him after hitting him in the back.
Yeah.
Adrian Dallas came in and hit him in the back. They ended up sprawling for a little bit, brawling, and then eventually hit him with like
uppercut.
The uppercut that the bus driver hit the lady with here in Cleveland on the RTA bus. He basically hit him one of them.
It's like, I was like in Mortal Kombat, like got fatality.
That was the funniest shit. And she said that shit.
Not
Not that I'm promoting violence against women. It's just the fact that she compared it to Mortal Kombat. Like, lady, dude, you just became a meme.
He got uppercut, and they said he went up in the air, and then his head hit the what's the name? Like, and they said like he was bleeding.
He had a pool of blood behind his head and stuff. And he left embarrassed for weeks.
Yeah.
Because it killed his whole mystique.
That's when he started going
That's when it spiraled out. That's when it spiraled out.
He came back all out of shape and everything like that.
Yep.
And then he got himself together.
Yep, and that's
but one of the things that actually, like, he beat his drug problem and everything like that. Only to die tragically in that van accident.
Exactly.
Which we're so, and I think some people saying they feel like the sketchy, that's a little sketchy or something. I don't.
They said the story is sketchy because they said they were ran off the road by a moose in the middle of the road. I'll tell you more sketchy shit of it. So they land in a creek. The guy who was part of a tag team with his brother was in the car. His brother died. Yeah. He saw his own brother die, and the only reason he survived because he was the only one ejected from the car.
Yep. How
How about getting ejected from the car is what kept you alive? That's nuts.
That's nuts, yeah.
Then to watch your own brother die, his best friend. The way he described that shit was so crazy, bro. I felt bad for him. And he saw the light in his eyes go out. He literally saw him die. Adrian Adonis was still alive, but they couldn't get help down to him to get him out of there
before he died.
Yeah, exactly. Here was the worst part. Some random homeless people came along, saw the car, could have called for help, and instead robbed them.
Yeah.
What type of fucking shit is that?
Robbed them all.
That's fucked up, man. So, other wrestlers, tried to make it there and help him out, but it was too little, too late at that point. So, he, along with 3 other men in the car, passed away. So, that sucked.
That's his first take of the story. He never spoke about it until the dark side.
Yeah.
So
that's the dark side so far. We still have a Doodle the Butcher, which comes on tonight, which actually comes on in about an hour.
Come on tonight, and then after that will be followed by Bam Bam Bigelow.
And there's 2 more after that.
One is on Marty Jannetty.
Yes, I think that's 10.
That's the final one.
Yep, and then before that will be Bash at the Beach 2000.
Yeah. So
we'll hear about that. They said that show was pretty much a shit show, so we'll get there. All right, so then it's our last segment of the show. We went a little over more than we wanted to, but let's finish it off in style.
Mount Rushmore.
Dun, 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 dun. The return of Mount Rushmore. So in honor of the Dark Side of the Ring, we decided to give you our Mount Rushmore Dark Side of the Rings. These are our personal opinions. You have your own opinions. We have ours. We're going to share ours with you right now.
We are not going, and we're going to just probably go 4-1-1 back and forth before we get into any honorable mentions, because I do have.
Yeah, I don't have honorable mentions.
I have some.
To save time, but I do have 4.
I do have 4 too.
All right.
You want to start it off, or you want me to start it?
You can start it.
Okay, my number 4 is
excuse me.
Cocaine and Cowboy Boots, the Herb Abrams story.
Boom, that's one of mine.
The fact that this man what's the name? And self-destroyed it. Like, some of the stories I heard was funny. Like, fronting the Herbie cookie. The one story Mick was like, Herb was like, man, I got the MGM grant. He only like 300 people. He like, bro, I still got the MGM grant. I'm like, you okay? Then Mick talked about the ostracized skin boots.
I like when he said they started fighting into the stands, but that wasn't part of the match. And B. Brian Bear was like a guest referee in the match.
Yeah.
He's like, Mick, what are you doing? Get it back in the ring. You shouldn't be doing this. He said, what are you talking about? This is a Herb show. We can do what we want. That was the best.
Then he walked over there and said he tried to talk to Vince and said that like, oh well, I'll give you this, but you let me control the way.
Or this was a promo cut live on TV. I told you about this in a joke, so I forgot exactly who said it, but he said he said it was something referring to Japan, like flying over there, and the dude was like, oh yeah, I was married to an Oriental once. I was like, what? You said that on TV?
I mean, but not only that, but I'm trying to think of the one thing about the when he said, yeah, he like, man, Herb come up here, man. He like, man, like he come here with these women. He like, now I'm from South Carolina.
He said, I'm talking true. What he said? Hollywood honeys.
He like, I'm from South Carolina, so I ain't never seen no women like that. Like they like true Hollywood honeys. He like, it looked like he like Herb come up here, and then Herb got these two women. He pulls out this big old pile of cocaine. He looked like, I'm thinking any time the SWAT gonna walk in. He like, hell, I can't leave. The room is in my name. My name. He said, I just sat there. He's like, it was a long night.
We love Herb. The way Herb died, covered in cocaine, naked, and some cowboy boots only.
But dude, like,
and Vaseline. Vaseline, cocaine, naked, and cowboy boots.
They said, what's the name? He's like, man, I just jumped out the window. He's like, what I'm trying to do? He's like, go somewhere. Get noticed.
I also love, this is also one of my favorites, and this isn't dogging on anybody. I just thought this was hilarious. So the reason that Herb had his money to even start the UWF, because he had a big and tall store for bigger ladies called You're a Big Girl Now.
Yeah.
That was the name of it. I thought that was hilarious.
What's your 4?
My 4 was that. That was mine. Let's go with your next one.
My number 3 one is I have In the Shadow of Grizzly Smith. This is the one with Jake.
That was a dark one.
But also because it gives us more in depth of like the upbringing, like all like Jake the Snake Roberts, Rockin' Robin.
I like that it gives it gives you the base layer to understand why he did all the stuff he did to where he's at.
Exactly. Like Rockin' Robin had a massive drinking problem. Who's the other guy? Sam Houston. I want to say him. Like, and they talk about how, no offense, he was an asshole. Like he was abusive as fuck to all them. Like Jake mentions all this shit, and I got that other because I feel like it gives them more like we understand, like Jake puts himself out there and we understand why Jake got into the drugs and everything. He did everything that he was doing because of that. So it's like, that's why I got that one.
Definitely.
That 3. It is a dark one, but it's one of my favorite ones though. I mean,
honestly, I feel like, I guess you can't without talking about that again, but I would almost like him to have his own dark side. Because he's had a hell of a life and a hell of a career.
Yeah.
Talking about his demons and his time in wrestling, how he got fucked over when he went over to WCW. You know what I'm saying? How they played him in the WWF, even though everybody knew his star status was as big as Hogan's, if not bigger, and they squashed it down because they didn't think he'd make a good champion.
Ultimate Warrior.
Stuff like that.
Ultimate Warrior had his classic walkout and got fired. It fucked Jake in the process.
Yep.
Jake was gonna get the title at that SummerSlam.
Yep.
SummerSlam. Still about point say he wanted to hit him with a roller quarters at the Hall of Fame. I'm like, damn, he still got a grudge. Warrior walked up to me and apologized. Said, I'm sorry for being a dick back in those days. Like, so yeah, I got that one. That's my 3.
All right. My next one, Blood and Wire, the story of Onita.
Yeah, that one.
That was awesome. I like how he started as just like a regular wrestler, but then started seeing like he was influenced by the original. There was a concession stand match back in the 80s, and that was like never done before, but that inspired him to like make his own company, which was Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, something like that. Hayabusa was there. Was one of the wrestlers that came out of there. They were known for having amazing like matches with barbed wire and exploding barbed wire matches, everything like that. So, I just liked his story. He's one of the originators of hardcore wrestling. You know what I'm saying? had great matches himself, many against like Terry Funk. And that match with they had Kenny Omega and John Moxley, where they tried to play into the ending where Omega tried to go back into the ring to cover Moxley after it exploded. Yes, the explosion was a piece of shit. I understand that. But if you ever saw the original one with Terry Funk versus Onita, it was much more captivating because it actually exploded. You actually had that sense of tension there when he jumped back in the ring to try to save him, even though this was a sworn enemy right there. He said, I just can't see you taken out like that. So he tried to hop on him to take the hit for him. You know what I'm saying? It was just crazy to see all that and hear the story told by him. And his back is like a Rand McNally globe. Like how it's like all 3D and sticks out when you touch on like the continent parts. That's his fucking back. They show pictures of it. It's fucking nuts. So, Blood and Wire, Onita.
Number two. Number two. I feel like I look at it like, damn, some of my dark side is kind of what's the name.
I know we're gonna have another one that's the same. I won't be surprised if our last two are the same. Go ahead.
Number two, I have the final days of Owen Hart here.
We don't have the same ones, but that is a very, very good one. I love the Owen Hart one.
And just because it gives us more in depth of like what happened that fateful day, everything that led up to that day, the fact that WWE was so cheap, they had to cut fucking corners and use fucking. They couldn't spare. They used 5-pound like fishnet things instead of extra light required weight that they were supposed to use. Owen didn't want to do the stunt, but Owen didn't want to tell them no though. Like they all led to this whole lawsuit and everything like that, to the point to where Martha Hart don't have nothing to do with Vince McMahon and all them to this day. And you know how everybody thought it was like, everybody thought it was they thought it was part of the show until they realized like, no, this is like something serious. Like, so it's a sad one. Like I said, I know these dark sides, they do have some funny ones, but at the same time, I'm like that's like one of my favorite ones, because I like the ones that I'm like more insight. I learn more about stuff like that. Like I didn't like the fact that Owen Hart was always a ribber backstage. He was a family man. Was always loved his family. Like he would come back, eat for a day, knowing he had to leave right back out the next day. Like he would do stuff like that. So that's
I learned a lot of stuff in that one. Like the Hearts acted like some Saudi bitches in favor of the WWF during this. Like they were trying to hide paperwork that she needed and stuff like that to help in the trial that she was trying to bring against them.
It put a rift between Brett and Martha for a while.
It was so crazy just because they were trying to keep a connection with Vince. So I'm not exactly sure.
It ain't till Brett went to WCW when all of a sudden he realized like he got his shit together. But like even then though, because that was after he died, after he went to WCW. Yeah.
And the family was still doing that type of shit, which is ridiculous.
That put a rift between Martha and the family, and Martha don't got nothing to do with Vince, WWE. I think her relationship with Brett might be cool.
Maybe.
Might be. We don't know.
I'm just glad she found it in her heart to bring Owens' legacy back to wrestling, even if it's in AEW in some way, because he's a legend and he deserves to have his name memorialized in the annals of professional wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's the one thing. But you got people that talk about AEW, WWE. I think the one thing I think every wrestling fan can agree on, no matter which one you prefer, is that anything with Owen Hart, you would love to see.
Exactly.
Like, so yeah.
Last one, for me.
Your number two?
Oh, my number two. Sorry, our last one's probably gonna. I know our last one's gonna be sad. I know it is. New Jack.
Honorable mention.
See, his story was so fucking crazy. I had to put it.
The reason
and mostly every time his reasoning was like, well, I did some cocaine that day.
The reason I got him as an honorable mention is because I knew everything they were going to talk about in the New Jack story. Like, I knew he was going to talk about Mass Transit, Vic Grimes, Old Joe Gypsy. I knew, like, all the stuff he was going to talk about. Like,
my favorite was the guy.
He did a bunch of drugs and
my
cocaine.
favorite was the guy who tried to sue him for assault from the match, but then came to the jail and said, look, we could drop all this and make it into an angle. He said, all right, yeah. And as soon as he dropped it, he left the state like, fuck you. That was awesome.
Oh, man.
His story is so nuts. It's just him as a person. I just shout out and rest in peace to Jerome Young, aka New Jack. But I love that. I had to bring it up. It was a good one. I love that. All right, our number ones.
Oh,
You want
yeah.
to say it at the same time because you know it is. You know it. And it's the most underrated, unexpected one to me because I
gotta
didn't
take the
know.
one more-
I
I
didn't
gotta
know
take
a
the-
moment it is. We watched it both together live, which is one of the very few times we actually watched Dark Side together live, and it was fucking hilarious. It is by far
I got
my
my
favorite
one part
episode.
from it. I got to say, but we gonna say it though. Yeah. So I'm assuming our number one is
Dr. D, David Schultz.
and the slap heard around the world. When Abraham Lincoln said free the slaves, I said free the pro wrestlers. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, hold on.
That is one of the
I'm
craziest
like, hold
statements
on.
I've ever
You
fucking heard
comparing
in my
slave-
fucking life.
Like, you comparing slavery to pro wrestling? Where you get that knowledge from? And he said it so convincingly. Like.
He had a
like,
dead serious
meant
face.
it.
He meant
Yeah.
that shit.
Like,
He meant that shit all the way.
like I had to
So we were talking about a guy in
we
the
had to
story.
rewind it back because I'm like, wait, did he really say that? Like, I couldn't believe it. Did you really like? He's so serious. Yeah, the thing that got me, he's so serious. Like, bro, you believe that shit? Like, you really comparing slavery to pro wrestling? Like, really? Like, oh, okay.
That's as bad as when I told you about. They had Lex Luger when he slammed Yokozuna on the aircraft, and they were interviewing the fan after, like Lex now was gonna save America. It was just as bad.
Oh,
Anyway, so we're talking about a guy who basically he did a video with 2020 with John Stossel, I do believe, trying to
who the bitch, by the way, and
he was trying to give us the secrets of pro wrestling, explain how they said it was so fake and everything like that, which we know it is, but that's not how we look at it.
You ain't supposed to say it back at that time. like-
Exactly. So that's also what got John Stossel slapped. He went up to David D and he was set it up with the company. He said to go ask questions. Before this happened, Vince told him, I think he told him to slap him. He told him literally to slap him. You know what I'm saying? Just, so put some fear into him. Let him know, like, nah, we ain't fake it all for real. So John Stossel, of course, went up to him, being a dick about it. He was like, yeah, they say this is fake. What do you think, huh? He said, what? Then John Stossel hit the ground. He bounced back up. He said, oh, you think that was fake? Bam, gave him another one. Busted his eardrum, slapped his head off the ground again. John Stossel ended up suing and winning money from him. And
Vince fucked him over at the end because Vince the one that told him to do it.
and then Vince fired David Schultz after this
Then he had beef with Hulk
because of the bad publicity of it.
He had beef with Hulk Hogan too, Dave.
Because Hogan was his boy, and Hogan acted like a bitch on the whole situation, like he
Yeah.
didn't know him no more as soon as it happened.
But then you go on the show
More
later.
whole ass tactics from Hulk Hogan.
But then you got a show later when somebody else said that fake, and then Hogan basically like put the dude in like a stand up, what's the name?
Yeah.
And took them out on TV.
Richard Belzer, who went on to be on Law and
Law
Order.
Order, SVU, rest in peace.
He sued them, and then from the money he got from them, he opened a chateau in France and called it Chateau Chez Hogan. From the money he got. One of the best parts of it is John Stossel still a salty bitch about it, even though he got money and all it is. He said, and anybody who thinks that I'm still on it, yes, I am. I'm not over it. Fuck you. That's literally what he said to the camera.
That
I'm
was
dying.
not me.
It was
Like
funny
that
as
man
fuck.
did in one part. I'm getting arrested by Dr. D. Like he became a bounty hunter.
He was excited about it.
He got arrested by a pro wrestler. Like
He said, oh, I'm getting arrested by Dr. D.
he was so happy about that shit.
Yeah, so we're basically talking about also Dr. D. So once he was blackballed from wrestling, he went on to be a bounty hunter and was a very, very successful one at that. This is years before Dog.
The bounty
You
hunter
know what I'm
came
saying?
out.
So I thought this was pretty cool. And I just liked his story. And I thought he's a pretty cool dude that shouldn't have been blackballed for wrestling for doing something that his boss told him to do just so the boss wouldn't catch heat from it. Thought it was some sucker shit. Great, hilarious story. My favorite Dark Side by far. It just had
It is so
some
underrated.
crazy revelations. in
It's
it.
so funny.
It was so funny,
It's informative, but it's
unexpectedly,
also
because
so-
I knew none of
Yeah.
that. I knew none of
I did
that.
not,
It was
yeah,
hilarious.
like that caught you off guard when he said that. I'm like, wait, hold on, like wait, what? Rewind that. Hold on, I had to make sure. Like, let me say
it was the best.
yeah, I said a couple honorable mentions. One, I got the one on Ultimate Warrior just because of the fact that like he made up a word, Deustricity or something, Deustrosity or something like that.
Deustrosity, yeah.
Deustrosity,
That doesn't mean anything.
yeah, I know. Like JR said, he made up a whole ass word. Like we don't like the fact that he was just a shitty wrestler. Plane Ride from Hell.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Cause I didn't know shit like Goldust serenade Terry Reynolds over the damn because he fucked up. This also got Tommy Dreamer fired from Impact at the time because some comments where I guess they
He
said
was
about
basically-
Ric Flair.
He was basically trying to support Ric Flair, who basically almost sexually assaulted a lady, basically by swinging his dick out.
Yeah.
Ah. So yeah, Rick caught a lot of backlash from that at the time too. They took him off the company logo and had this. I didn't say they, I ain't gonna say they like disavowed him from the company, but he definitely wasn't part of it for a while.
Yeah.
Now he's back.
He's back.
They slowly
that.
creeped him back in, but yeah, he caught some flack for that, and that happened years before that. You know what I'm saying? So
And-
it was nuts. Also, I gotta say, honorable mention for me, Bruiser Brody.
Yeah.
Love Bruiser. I love his rebelness. Like, he didn't just take shit. Like, if Vince said, this is where you at in the card, he's like, fuck you, I'll go back to Japan. I make $14,000 a week, bro.
Right, I don't need this shit.
He's like, yeah, exactly. He wouldn't take other people's shit. And he started back when he was a professional footballer who had some trials in the NFL, but ended up playing in the Canadian Football League. And he just wouldn't, the team that he was on, they said they wouldn't pay them, but give them a cut of the gate. But what does that matter if you only get 300 fans? Not 3,000 or 30,000.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't really
Nothing.
making nothing. So that's where his defiantness started. He was also way smarter than if you were to set eyes on the man. You would think he was a brute. The man was formerly a sports writer and a very eloquent sports writer who happened to cover a story on pro wrestling, which made him get into pro wrestling. You know what I'm saying? So he could have did anything he wanted. He chose to do.
He was smart.
You know what I'm saying?
He also looked out for his fellow wrestlers too.
Yep. And he
he made sure they didn't take nothing like. Now they say he was a dickhead. It's like he'll take like majority of the what's name, but he always say make sure that everybody else was taken care of too though.
And then he got killed
on some sucker shit. And then a couple more. You talk about football. I got Brian Pillman here. I mean.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Another one I did not know much about Brian Pillman. Like I didn't know that much about him. And then the one on Chris Benoit. And the reason I got the one on Benoit, the honorable mention, is because the ending when Chris Jericho was it Nancy's
sister and Chris's first son
together
from his first wife.
At the end together reconcile. That was just a touching moment. And the fact that Chris Benoit after Eddie Guerrero died, bro, gave up on life. I honestly believe
he did. That was his best friend.
And don't excuse what he did, but that's like, damn, like Chris, damn, I didn't know, like when Eddie died, he gave up on life, bro. Like he ain't had nothing to live for no more.
The saddest part was when they said that Vicky Guerrero found him on Eddie's side of the bed in her bedroom crying
with
the pillow.
Yeah. Just crying for
or
days.
cutting a Bible or something like that.
I think it was something to Eddie's. I think.
Yeah.
I want to say I don't think it was a boot of Eddie's or something. It was something to Eddie's though.
Yeah.
And he was just crying for like 2 days straight. I'm like, damn. I'm like, after Eddie died, like he just gave up on life, man.
Yeah.
And he took a downward spiral ever since then. Like, and then not the fact that they told him not to do the flying head, but they like, don't do it.
Yeah. Hardy Race tried to warn him.
Yeah, he did it anyway though, and. So yeah, but the end was the reason I put that as an honorable mention, because even though through the course of that just shows how much more of a humanitarian Chris Jericho is. It's like, so.
I agree, man. So with that being said, that is a full show in the books. We're back on track here a little bit. We're gonna leave as we always do with Mr. Ron Simmons, so we can get out of here and get home because it's getting late. With that being said, we're back in about a week's time. I'll be out of town this weekend, checking out Global. Shout out to my Denver folks, coming to see y'all soon. With that being said, I'm one half of your host. I'm Rob.
I'm Clint.
And this has been Hot Tag Wrestle Corner. Sir Simmons, take us home, please.
Queen shit, blue chip shit, Noki with the ring, yo.